So fellas, you ever noticed a person that has food or drink all over their beard? Doesn't that make you cringe? They're thinking, yeah, I look cute. And you're looking at them like, look at this filthy animal. Fellas, we're not living in the Stone Age. Your beard shouldn't smell like goat cheese and look like a rat's nest. There's a veteran that took it upon himself to create grooming products for men. Listen, they smell amazing. They keep your beard nice and moisturized and looking sharp throughout the day. Rugged Bison has a line of handcrafted pomades, mustache wax, beard balms, and an online thrift store with quality brands and merchandise. All veterans and first responders get 20% discount. It's time to look and smell like a gentleman. Go to ruggedbison.com and order your handcrafted grooming products today. That's RUGGEDBISON.com. You can hear this podcast and all other chapters on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and YouTube. Please do not forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for listening.
Chapter 52.
You are now listening to the chapter of the Architect with DJ Architect.
What's going on again, my people in the place to be? This is your homeboy, DJ Architect. I want to welcome you guys to another chapter of The Architect. We're listening to chapter 52, ladies and gentlemen. On the phone, I've got a good old friend from the days in New York, in Uniondale, New York. I got my homeboy, DJ.
You mean young? You mean young?
Yes.
Not old, you're young.
There you go. Correct. On the line I have right now, my homeboy, DJ DonQ. How you doing, my brother Donnie?
Yes.
How are you?
Good, man. Good to actually hear your voice. I haven't heard your voice in a while. I know we're trying to link up with you since podcast number 1.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
It's just been crazy life, man.
Hey, believe me, brother, you're like the white whale. I've been chasing your ass for a while. But I finally got you here on the podcast. Obviously, you've got family and business matters, work. And then sometimes things happen, man. So I totally understand. But I finally got you here on the chapter of The Architect, man. So I'm very, very excited. Just so the listeners have a background of how when you and I met, we met, let's see, I believe it was back in I moved to Uniondale from Westbury in 1992. I came into Uniondale High School in the middle of 10th grade. And actually the first person that I met who later on introduced me to you and Raz was DJ Droman.
Yeah.
Danny, of course. But what I recall, and I said in his podcast, was when I met you guys, every individual within that small little clique had DJ equipment, and you guys were fairly young. You got to remember, we were probably of the age of 17 years old when we first met each other in 10th grade. Tell the listeners about the little clique that you guys had and what possessed you guys to collectively or individually gather money and buy DJ equipment.
You know, it's funny because when I was maybe 7 years old, this before the click happened, it's funny, all of us, even at a young age, had a mutual interest in music. And before we met each other, we brought that music interest together. But I want to tell you something that I don't know if a lot of people know the story, but my brother's best friend, his name was Henry Oliva. He was the local DJ. He was the guy that would bring turntables. I mean, at my first house party in my house, I remember him coming and bringing his equipment to the basement. He was very good. And he was the local DJ. And I used to, look at this guy like he was a god, man. Like, wow, this guy comes in here. He controls this crowd. He's a likable guy. He gets on the mic. I remember watching him. And he was the guy that I saw first do it. And my brother always wanted to be a DJ, but I just don't think that he wanted to practice or he didn't have the time. So he would teach me on tape decks. My brother, we would do stuff on tape decks.
Right.
Back then we had the double deck. You would do what you could because you didn't have money for DJ equipment like Henry did. But tragic story is that they all went out one night, my brother's friend, and my brother was supposed to go with them, but my brother had some kind of engagement he had to go to. So they all went to a club that we all went to, Carlos, in Island Park. They went through so many different names. I don't remember the name of it, but it was called Machine. It was called Wall. It was called many different things. But when Henry went there, they went with a group of guys, and they go into the club, and one of my brother's acquaintances, not even his friend, decides to take a chain off of a guy in the club.
Right.
And he takes the chain off of this guy who happened to be a bad guy. And they end up, talking to the guy. I said, listen, give the chain back. He's like, no, I'm not giving the chain back. I want the chain. So they go outside. And Henry, who was a big peacemaker at the time, he was always the likable guy. He wanted to diffuse the situation. So he goes to the guy, because they wanted to beat the guy up, obviously, who took the chain.
Right.
Now they're trying to protect this guy that took the chain. So he goes up to the guy. He's like, listen, man, I'm sorry about my friend. Lo and behold, he gets shot in the neck.
Oh,
and he died. So that was a tragedy for us.
Wow, the peacemaker. It's always the peacemaker that ends up getting the
always
the short end of the stick.
It was, dude. When I tell you that turned our town upside down, that's an understatement, man. Not only is the DJ gone, but the best guy on the block. Like, this is the guy that would stand outside his gate and just watch people come over, say hello. He was like the detective of the block.
Wow, he kind of reminds me. He kind of reminds me of my brother Jose.
Yeah, like likable guy like Jose. Yeah, kind-hearted, big heart, and knew everybody. Everybody knew him, and he didn't have to work because he was making so much money DJing. His father owned a moving company that employed my brother for years.
Wow,
it was sad, man. So to see Henry die, the DJ, made me want to DJ more. Then, as I got older, I started, wanted to DJ, and then, knowing Danny Roman for so many years, his brother was a well-established DJ. I think Richie right now could probably rock any kind of party you throw at that guy. That guy, I look up to that guy so much. So he had the turntables. Actually, Danny's grandfather, I think, was the one that passed the turntables down, and Richie was the one that just grabbed it. I mean, I think I still have a mixtape of Richie did that. If I listen to it, I'm in awe of this thing, man. It's just, he's a great DJ.
Not to cut you off, but I would say possibly maybe 9 or 8 years ago, you had a video stream with several DJs coming in and out. And I remember the first time you premiered it, it was, I think, for a 6-hour block where DJs would come in and log out, log in, and then it might have been for 5 or 6 hours. It was pretty dope, and I was humbled when you asked me to do an hour block on it, and I believe Droman's brother Richie might have taken an hour, or I might be mistaken. But what I'm getting down to is, I remember listening to an hour of his mixes on your streaming channel. I believe it was Ustream, correct?
Yes, yeah, man. I forgot about this. Oh my God.
Yeah, I remember listening to a block of his mixes, and oh my goodness, man, he was playing some classics. He was playing Prince, and like really mixing some quality music, some funk music. And I watched the video and all, and I was like, wow, this is how a true professional gets down on the wheels of steel, man. It was all inspiring. I felt very humbled to be a part of it. It was dope.
Yeah, we had that go, man. That was awesome that we had the marathon going and we had people watching, all different people. I think Richie honestly had the most views, if I remember correctly. It says a lot for,
Absolutely.
A guy that's not really a scratcher or he does scratch, but he just controls you with his selection.
Absolutely, selection. Yes.
Yeah, his beat matching is great. He was the guy that was always on beat. Like, he was the first guy to be on beat. We were like, yo, this guy could mix. That was, as a DJ, that's your first baby steps is trying to get the beats to match.
Hey,
if you had horses.
Hey, my brother.
And I don't know how to say anything about horses, but you know who I'm talking about when I say horses.
Listen, I was gonna say that exact word. I was gonna say, if you could please, because we all within the friends of ours, we all had that word, and we would, every time we would catch someone doing it, we would say horses, horses. If you, if you could please explain to the people listening, what are horses? What do you mean when you say horses?
So when you say horses, you mean beats coming in that are not in time or off beat. So if you have a drum beat going at a certain pace, like a metronome or a click, and if you bring the next click in at a different click pace, you're going to get click, 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 click instead of getting click, click, click. So that is horses. But, metronome is easy because it doesn't sound like horses. But when you have bass drums in it, then you get the horse.
Then you have hi-hats, snare, including. So if the downbeat's not on time, you're going to have a hi-hat, snares, bass drum, probably congas, along with something else that's sequenced that's not in time, and all you hear is.
So we don't have vocals in it. If you got vocals in it, you're done.
You're done. So we would tease each other when we would start, especially me, because when I met you guys, you guys were already had mastered the art of blending and mixing. And I recall going to each one of yours, whether it was your house or Danny's house or Raz's house or even DJ Slam, Damien's house. And, and he had holy shit, man, he had the techniques, right?
Oh, man, he was the holy grail, Damien, man. And he was a great scratcher, too. So
absolutely.
You go to Damien's house and you go there, and I mean, it was just it was a hip hop heaven. Like that guy would cut up, jump around, and third bass. I remember him cutting up third bass. We called him MC Search because he looked exactly like him.
Still does. He had the same haircut. Yeah,
same haircut. But he was a great scratcher, man.
Absolutely,
he was the one that we always thought would be the top DJ. I thought he would be the top DJ.
It's funny. It's funny you say that because he had the skill set to do so. Very, very talented, and more so, a very talented freestyle MC. Do you recall? Do you recall one evening we were in? I think it still might have been called Paradise, out in Oceanside, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, that there is where my when Henry got killed. That place.
Oh, that same spot.
That's the place.
Same spot. Yeah. Wow, that spot has many, many different same location, but same venue, but just different names.
Yeah, went changed hands many times. Yep.
There was an evening where we went. It was a Friday evening, and TKA was performing, and we were there. And then all of a sudden, guess who jumps on stage and starts freestyling? Is DJ Slam. And we're like, "What the hell? Look at this guy's crazy, man!" But it was a pretty decent freestyle, man. But just a real charismatic, very clever, intelligent type cat, man. And his scratching was off the hook.
Yeah, he was a great cutter, a great scratcher. He would juggle beats. He was a guy that we would look to give us guidance with scratching. Because coming from a blending, perspective, then you got, the best of all the worlds. You got Damien scratching, you got Richie beat matching, and you going back and forth, and you're doing all this stuff, and and you're getting taught. You don't realize that, but we were getting taught as we listened. To different people,
Absolutely.
And we took it and we ran with it and we did our own thing. But, we were in an environment of teaching every time. I think that the music is probably the best thing that ever happened for us, man.
I agree.
If you think about it, because we got involved with some bad things, but if the music wasn't there to consume our time,
right,
we probably would have been in jail at maybe. We don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, where would our life have taken us? That's why I preach to kids in general, or my kids, get involved in music and DJing. Get involved in some kind of aspect of music, production, singing, arranging, because that will keep you playing instruments.
Yeah.
That will keep you off the street. I'm not telling them it's going to keep you off the street, but I'm trying to distract them to get off the street, to not get in the street,
I agree.
Not get involved with bad people.
I totally agree, because once you find a passion in something, because of the passion, now you feel you have to get better at it. So you dedicate time. You have time for nothing else, but to hone your craft. But going back real quick to DJ Slam, he was here a couple of times several years ago at my house. And the first time he came, I had a little barbecue for him. It was just him and I. He had his girlfriend. My wife was here. They introduced, we had, a light lunch, and, of course we started cracking some beers. And I said, hey, man, are you ready? And he goes, what's going on? I said, well, let's go to the garage. I got my DJ equipment set up in the garage. Let's do it. Sure enough, man, like going back on a bicycle, him and I start mixing song per song, and they're freestyle songs. You know what I mean?
Oh, man.
And, there he is, and he starts licking his fingers, and I'm like, damn, oh, man, there he is. He starts licking his fingers. And, thank you know what, once again, every opportunity that I get, I have to thank you, because when I started getting back into DJing, I believe it was 11 years ago, when I was starting to inquire about the equipment, you were the one that gave me the information, like, hey, look, man, you want to get back into it, this is what you need to get yourself Pioneer. They're the Cadillac. I remember specifically you said they're the Cadillac of CDJs, and I ended up getting a DJM 800 and two CDJ 400s in a coffin. And
great, that's a great setup right there, man.
Brother,
I could use that setup right now,
brother. And
I love it,
and man. That is what I use to this day. Till this day, I'd never. I thought about getting the vinyl Serato, but due to lack of space, and you work with what you got. And believe me, man, I've done weddings, I've done Marine Corps balls, quinceañeras, and look, guys, what I'm trying to say is if the equipment you got is quality and it's good, even if you have the space more so, then go ahead and buy yourself other sets. But I'm good with what I got, man. I would love to go and buy turntable equipments just to get back into the feel of putting skin to vinyl. I think that was a great feeling.
I mean, the setup that you got is a workhorse. It's great. It's not, you like I tell people when they're starting out DJing, I'm going to get this little Newmark thing. I'm like, you know what? I've been through my share of Newmark, Gemini, and I remember just constantly buying things over and over again. When I started investing more money in quality, I started investing less. Right. Because the stuff wasn't breaking. It was quality. The sound was good. It was durable. Right. That's what you look for, especially when you're mobile. You're carrying stuff, you're dropping it, you're moving it. Right. You need quality, man. You in a wedding, they don't want to hear that my Newmark mixer went bad on me on the first dance. They don't want to hear that, man. They want to hear what they have to hear, and they don't want excuses. So you want to play, and even if you're in an amateur level, get yourself some good stuff. Inquire, ask like you did. Ask people. I still ask people all the time. Absolutely. I go to stores and I could stay in an iDJ Now or Music Trend for 3 hours talking to guys about stuff before you make an investment.
I find it intriguing. The funny thing is, and I'm not trying to speak bad about these individuals, but if I go into a guitar center, I'll be well versed on all the information per that object. And when I go in there and I ask the individual behind the counter, they're like, oh, well, let's look it up online. I'm like, well, hold on. Don't you know? Well, I can tell you. Let's not even waste the time. I can tell you what it does and what it doesn't do. I want a comparison of what is the better item. So I find them shortcoming on knowledge. But going back to DJ Slam being in my garage, and we're going back and forth on mixes, man. And he's up, and then he goes into the crate of old school hip hop, and he plays a Method Man joint. And brother, listen, the freestyle was great. But at that particular moment, I was expecting him to hit me with another freestyle song, but he goes into hip hop. And I remember sitting back, looking at him and taking a swig of my beer and just getting like a nostalgic feeling, man, because all of a sudden he starts to scratch. And I'm like,
how come you didn't record this? You should have recorded this, man.
Because you got to keep in mind, I didn't have the forethought to. I guess I was lost in inspiration watching him, and I was more captivated and lost in the moment to actually be like, oh, let me record this and forward this to the fellas, man. But it was it was such a great feeling to have him in my house and being able, to do that. But going back to the individuals in Unidel, man. So who were the real individuals who sat you down and said, okay, look, I'm going to teach you how to blend?
I got to say Richie was the one, because Richie already knew the art. He had it, and we watched him, Danny and I watched this guy like a hawk. And just when he mixed, this guy, to show you how in deep this guy was, he had his freaking DJ equipment in his living room. My man had a full house, but his DJ equipment is the centerpiece of his house.
Wow.
So that's Danny Roman's that's their grandfather's old house. I believe it was in Roosevelt. But we would go to this man's living room and throw down hours, man, and just forget, no TV on, just music, all listening to this guy with his record. Like I wonder if he has his record collection. I don't know if he does or not, but that's another thing. These cats now, they could download music off YouTube. They could get free stuff. We had to go to stores to get the exclusive, to get the new song. So I tell people to this day, listen, when I did a $400 gig, I spent $380 in records to do that gig.
Right.
We were making $20, Carlos, for gigs.
Wow.
Now, with the digital era, is when we finally started making money. People don't understand that.
Wow.
Like if you needed a record and you had to do a gig and they gave you a song, like right now I'm getting lists of 100 songs sometimes. Can you imagine if I needed to purchase 80 records?
Wow.
At $5 a piece?
That's crazy. That's crazy, man. It's funny because I've got some notes in front of me, man, and I was going to bring up the topic later on, but now that it's here, I miss the fact of being able to walk into a Tower Records and, buying vinyl or going to the Village. My brother was a huge, he loved collecting records. And when I first started DJing, I would dig into his, I had one crate, you know what I mean? That's how much, when I first started, I had that little amount of money to get myself. It wasn't even a full crate. I'd say 3/4, but my brother already had 4 full crates of records, and he wasn't even a DJ. He would just collect them because he would go to Manhattan, go to the clubs. And I remember him one time, it was him and Ray, and I tagged along, and they went to the Village, and they went to a record shop, and they had gone to the club the night prior. They didn't know the name of the song, so my brother hummed it out to the individual behind the counter. He had to be a DJ, so he hums it out, and the guy goes, "Yeah, I know that record. Yeah, follow me." And he pulls it out, man. My brother's like, "Yeah, this is it. And he, because the guy, there's a record player there, so he plays it. He goes, "Yeah, that's it." And, DJs like Louis Vega and, all these individuals, they were coming out with all this great music. But what I'm trying to say is I miss walking into a brick and mortar store. And there was one specifically in Levittown where I was able to purchase my first Noel album. I'm talking about the, Out of Time, Fire and Ice. They had all these little secret gems that you could walk in there, but you're right. Per album, you were spending $5.99, $4.99 for the vinyl. So I'm in total agreement.
I know. I remember Jose. Like, I remember you. Like, I met you first, but I got really close to Jose also. But I went into Jose's room. I remember he had a corner of his room with records, and I'm like, oh my God! I'm on my hands and knees going through this guy's records. And when I tell you that these records are in pristine condition, I'm like, Jose, what is this, man? He's like, yeah, I collect records. I'm like, yo, I need these, man. There's a bunch in here that I need, And that's what you did. When you looked at people's collection back in the day, you were like, I need that, man. Right. I gotta get that. I need this. And that remember, that's putting you in the hole financially because you're like, I gotta buy these things, man. I can't dupe it. I can't copy it. I have to purchase it.
You're right. And you know what? And this is just my personal opinion. The quality of the sound was so much better. I don't know why.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why. But for a lot of these individuals that, who are DJing now, utilizing digital music, if you think you're going to go off YouTube and rip a song, you may get a good quality. Half the time it's going to be whoever uploaded that version of the audio is not great quality, and it's going to show when you're coming out in front of 300-400 people and it's coming out of a amplified speaker at a high volume level. People are going to notice the quality of the sound, and it's just going to make you look bad.
So I go to events now, and I still listen to DJs at events, and I'm like, oh, that's a YouTube rip right there. Right away. Right here, first thing you hear, you're like, oh man.
You could hear it right off when the bass kicks and the distortion, and you're like, oh my God, man, that sounds awful.
It's like copying a tape almost, because you lose something when you go and you rip that song from YouTube. You're losing something immediately.
I agree.
I agree. And that's just going to get worse.
I agree, man. I jotted down, obviously I told you I jotted down some notes, man, but there's so many topics that like I said, man, I've been looking forward to this, but there's so many topics that I want to touch on, man. Let's talk about the first time collectively, you and I, Danny, got together in the studio in East Meadow off Hempstead Turnpike. Let's talk about that.
Oh, wow. Oh, well, I don't know if your listenership knows that I always tell people to this day, I mean, you are one of the best, or are one of the best writers that I ever met in my time. I mean, I know your hip hop. I mean, I've shown you some of your hip hop music to DJ friends, and they're like, you know, lyricists. That guy's a lyricist, like a Nas. That's a Nas. That's a mini Nas. You know what I'm saying?
Humbled.
Like that
Thank
guy
you.
is. And you always when we needed a song, let Carlos write the song. Because every song I try to write sounded like freestyle. I couldn't get out of it. I don't know. I just don't know. It's in my blood or something. I don't know. But you would write ballads. You would write hip hop. You would write this. And, you know, it was your idea to record a song. I think you were the whole I mean, we all sang. All of us sang. You know, we love music. We DJ. We sang. That, you know, as I tell people now, like, the amount of talent that we surrounded ourselves with was amazing. Like, I look back now, but we did not give ourselves enough credit back then. Because I think between the DJing, singing, playing piano, I play a little piano, you play piano, you play guitar, you did all this stuff. We DJ, we mixed, we made our own beats. Like, people don't realize that we were extremely talented individuals, all of us in our own right. Because now I ask my daughter, and at a young age, I'm questioning kids now. She's like, "Oh, Dad, he's very talented. He plays the piano. Okay, what else does he do?
Right.
That's all he does. Okay, I mean, that's talented, but we could sing, write, play, DJ, and be well at it, do good at it. You know,
Right.
So I think all of us lifted each other. Like, our talent level was pushed to its extreme. When we heard Carlos write a song, we're like, yo, I gotta write better. Or if I sang, or if you sang, yo, I gotta sing better. Yo, I gotta rap better because Damien is killing it. You know, he's freestyling. Like, you know, he could sit there and snap on me just looking at me in a rap in 10 seconds.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
That's an amazing talent to have, and we took it for granted, man. We took that for granted.
We did,
know?
Man. I think if we would have had more focus, you know, we could have done some great things, but nonetheless, certain amount of songs were recorded. And look, man, I'm grateful for the experience, to be honest with you, to be able, and look, and I'm speaking truthfully, if it would have been by myself, it might have been a lot longer for me to enter into a studio. But because I felt I had willing participants to go into the fray with me, I was like, okay, cool, man. Now it's not just me. And regardless if the lyrics were being written by me, but now I had people to give me some kind of, moral support. Plus, you know, let's be honest with you, you were always a better singer than all, the three of us. You,
Thank you, man. Appreciate that, man.
Yeah, the more talented singer, man. So it just made the a lot more easier for us to go in collectively as a group. And I still remember to this day, we went into the studio and it was, I believe it might have been $40 an hour that they were asking for studio time. And I went in there with the vinyl of Micmac Records, Johnny O's Fantasy Girl. And then I played it for the producer and I said, we want to make music like this. Not exactly the same type of song structure or song melody, but if you can make something happen, do it. And then the producer gets on the keyboard and he starts playing dun 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 dun, and then the bass line of the track, and we're like, oh,
that guy, Carlos. I don't remember his name. I remember his look. He was a straight up rock and roll dude, man.
Rocker.
He was long hair rocker. I'm like, what, Carlos? We're gonna go to AC/DC to make freestyle, bro. What the hell are we doing here, man? And we listened to this guy, and I wish I knew this guy to this day. I don't know what happened to him. That was probably the most talented producer I have ever witnessed in my life.
I agree.
And to do the things he did in a short time, and to throw the cuts and the drum rolls and this, I'm like, I was in awe of this guy. Remember picking up the drum rolls, Carlos? I don't know if you remember that.
Man, absolutely. I remember when he had the sample cut. Here we go.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, man. He was extremely talented. But looking at it now, in hindsight, you had groups in the freestyle era like Lanier. These guys had long hair, but they're singing freestyle. But it didn't, at that moment, it didn't click to us. We're just like, hey guy, go pick up a guitar. And at the time, I was playing the guitar too. I remember the first time that I had a Stonewash Flying V Jackson with 2 humbucker pickups, and I take it to Raz's house for the first time, and he's like, what the hell is this?
What are you, Vicente Fernandez or something, bro? What the hell is going on here?
Because you guys everything was DJ equipment, and I come with a guitar, and but nonetheless, it was a great experience. We were only 17 years old, man, the first time we stepped into the studio, and it was a great experience. And then, shortly after that, we ended up going and we meet in Hempstead. We go to Crackhead's studio. Remember Crackhead?
Man, do I remember Crackhead. Jerry curled out and everything, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, the name of the studio was called the Demo Factory.
Yes.
But we would call him Crackhead because he was very, if this was, we didn't call him to his face, hey, Crackhead, give me more Valium. But, we would say it amongst ourselves, yeah, we got to go see Crackhead for this remix or whatever have you. But very intelligent, thin African American with short, they were baby dreadlocks, man. He was just starting off. And I remember
he looked like a famished Coolio.
Yes. And he had this studio in Hempstead.
In his basement, by the way.
In his basement, but it was very well done. He had the huge 48 mixing channel board. And I remember we walked in for the first time. I'm trying to remember the songs that we recorded in that studio.
We did more R&B-ish. Well, that guy was great for R&B, man. His R&B skills were amazing, man. Do you still have any of those tracks?
Because of my Marine Corps service and moving back and forth, I lost photographs. I've lost music. You have no idea how many things that I lost. But I tell you, who probably does have them is Raz.
Yeah, because we made some good. I know Raz has been finding stuff here and there that he sends me. He rips it. He sends me sometimes. Mm-hmm. But I don't think any of that R&B stuff that we did with him, with Crackhead, was in that archive.
You know who probably else has it is Jose, Baby Latin.
Oh, maybe Jose. Yes, we have to talk to him.
He has to have it because there were several songs where we recorded with Just Us, which was the second group, right?
Right, yes.
With Jose.
Yes.
So he has to have copies of some of those.
I got to reach out to him because I think that we had, like I said, we had some good music. Your writing capability changed with that guy because we decided to try to make music that was more less freestyle and more for money. We got to start making music that people are gonna, be with the times, pop music. We're trying to do.
Yeah, I remember at that time. I hate to say it, but freestyle was dead when we made that first song. It was probably 1993, and at that era, George Lamont had just came out with the album In My Life, so it was like the last great push for freestyle. And, after that...
We kind of missed the boat.
Big time. I think if we would have jumped in if we were 4 years, 5 years, earlier or much older in age, we could have probably, did some kind of splash. But yeah, we had missed the boat. Everyone was going and we're like, hold on, we got another song for you guys. And everyone's like, crickets.
I don't know if you remember, but when we walked into the studio all the time, they would say, oh, the George Lamonts are here. That's what they would call us because that's what the music was. We wanted to be like George, we wanted to be like him.
I'll tell you what, though, listen, regardless of the genre of music and how, late we were to enter that type of, recording studio and venue, it's a pretty good feeling when you're 17 years old and people in high school like, hey, man, aren't you the guy that wrote that song? Or you have a friend who's coming up to you and, hey, you got that song on you? Hey, man, did you guys really write that? That's not you, right? And you're like, oh, shit, man, these motherfuckers think that, we're faking the funk. But in reality, I felt proud for us because, it's not every day that a high school kid in 11th grade can walk around and you got friends coming up to you and they're like, "Yo, man, that was a pretty good song, dude. How the fuck did you guys do it?"
Yeah.
Like they did. It was almost like they didn't believe it. I felt it was.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to you when I say that I don't think we would have ever been in that studio if it wasn't for you. Like, I didn't believe it either. Like, I didn't think we could make a song. I didn't think we could go to a studio. You did all the legwork. You went. You found it. You wrote it. We followed your lead, man. That was all you. Like, I was like, yeah, we can do it. Carlos says we can do it. He's making it happen. We're gonna do it. I don't think if it was up to me that we would have did it. I think because we followed your lead, because you had the vision, the songs, the writing, and I think that song was great. Like I told you, maybe 10 years ago, I have a freestyle. He remained nameless, but he was very popular in the circuit, made a record, cut 2 records. And he worked with me. And I put him on a few times to gigs or whatever. So I had this song, Please Don't Leave Me Tonight, and I let him hear it. I let him hear it, and I let him hear a smidge. When I tell you that this man, after the first few bars, he said, "I want this song. I need it. I want to record it. I want to re-record it. I need it." I said, first of all, I don't own this song. I said, second of all, I could find out if he said, tell him I'll buy it from him. So I don't know if you remember this, Carlos, but I hooked you up. I think I hooked you up with him. I said, it's up to him. I'm okay with it. It's his song, so you talk to him. But he always wanted a copy. Till this day, this dude asked me for a copy of that song.
Oh, wow.
And I refused to give him that song because I know, we don't have no copyrights on that song, man.
You're right.
We don't have anything on that, man.
Yeah.
This guy could run with it and record it and make a few dollars. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what he's going to do with it. Or he could change it to a pop song. Like, there's a lot of things you can do with that,
I agree. Or change several lyrics and call it his own. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're absolutely
right. So I
right.
refuse to give this man a song.
So I want to tell you thank you for protecting it, because knowing that it was in a naked environment, so in an unprotected environment. But I want to tell you thank you for protecting it, man. I really do. I appreciate it. And he did reach out to me, but when we started talking about how the money was going to work, it didn't sound right to me. And I was like, you know what? I'd rather it be left as is and not be put in a situation where I'm feeling I'm like tempted. I'm not going to talk bad, so I'll just leave that out. But yeah. But yeah, man, I was proud of the work that we ended up doing at such a young age, to be able to walk in the studio. And to be honest with you, man, look, whether I believe in reincarnation or not, I don't know. But for me, I've always believed in my past life. Maybe it's some kind of string in my past life had me doing that, because going into that studio, whether for the first time or not, I wasn't intimidated. What I was excited. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I felt at home, but more so I felt at ease because I had both you and Danny, at both ends to be like, okay, man, it's the work, regardless if I wrote the song or not, the work wasn't all going to be on me. I could collectively sit down and be like, okay, and toss ideas around. Hey, what do you think about it? What about this? And what about that? And I guess that's what made the process so much more easier. I
agree. I mean, I saw you in that studio and I was like, this is your home. Like, you don't know it. That groomed you. That was like the home that was waiting for you. Like, that was the door that was waiting for you, because as you see in your life after that gave you a little taste, and you just wanted to run and make music and do lyrics and you just took off from there. You just started moving on your own, because I think you had a bigger vision than I did, I'll be honest with you, because I love singing, but I didn't think that I could ever do anything possibly with it. Like, I had this little smidgen of it. Maybe I could, but I never gave up on it. But I kind of did give up on it because I was being realistic. You kept the dream, and I try to fill the dream here and there in my life too, because I still had the bug. As a music guy, you lose that bug, because you have it inside you and you're always looking for something. But you had more of a passion and more of a fire desire for it, which I love that about you, because you're always doing music. Even when we sort of, split apart and you ended up going to the Marines and moving, you still kept doing music. you still moving.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, look at Carlos, man. He's still going with this, and he's good.
Yeah,
He's good. I mean, I think that you shouldn't give up on it, man. Like, even though we're older now, the lack of hip hop talent out there is tremendous. Yeah. You need to write for people, man. Write for somebody, sell your stuff, and if you don't want to do it yourself, I think you have potential to sell it to somebody, man. They need lyrics right now. There's no lyrical content in music. There's no freestyle. There's nothing. It's mumble rap. It's mumble rap now. That's what I call it. Which is kind of sad. It's kind of sad.
I agree, man, and I'm humbled by your words of appreciation, man. Thank you. That means a lot. It really does.
I mean, our circuit will tell you the same. Everybody in our circuit, yo, Carlos was a beast writing. He's a beast.
It's funny because I recall coming off leave, and I was in Okinawa, Japan, and coming to New York and visiting Raz and talking to Raz, and I'm like, hey, look, man, I'm looking to build my own studio. And you got to remember, ladies and gentlemen, DJ Raz was on the podcast way earlier on. And he was more of yes, he was a DJ, but he played more so in the background element where he would help us with ideas, theories. Mm-hmm. When it came to music production, he would be the person, technically he would be my engineer, is where I would go on a Sunday, he would pick me up. I would buy 240s of Old English, and we would go down to his basement, and he would engineer, and I would be on the keyboard. And so he knew all the practicals of the software. So I remember coming to New York from Okinawa, Japan, and going to him and saying, hey, look, I want to build my own home studio. At the time, I really mobile, right? Because I was still moving. And I said, what program were you using? And I remember just picking his brains and trying to ascertain as much information out of his brain as I could, because all I did was play the keys. I had no idea what he was doing as far as, setting the metronome, setting the measures, the count of entry. I had no idea what the guy was doing. The guy is extremely intelligent. And, everyone in our little group played their part, and they played it very well. And he played his notch extremely well. He wasn't one of the strongest DJs, but nonetheless, he played a huge, essential part in what I would consider us being, proficient in what we are now. So I thank him extremely. I thank him very, very much, man.
I remember him with the computer. He was the first, he's pretty much like a computer genius and able to figure things out. And when he had the recording studio, he was the first one to get was it you that got the 4-track or him? Because that's kind of opened up the doors for us.
I purchased the 4-track. I put that sucker on layaway for like 6 months. but
so the 4-track opened the door, and then Raz, Raz is a great technical guy, music guy, love appreciation of music. He was the one that we gravitated towards, because he had, not only did he have the DJ equipment, he was probably the first one to have direct drive turntables, which I always had belt driven. I think Danny had belt driven. Richie had direct drive turntables, but as as a DJ, belt driven turntables are the worst for DJs. They're horrible. Because the takeoff is.
Thank you. Can you explain why? I was about to ask you that.
So not only it's an unnatural feeling of a let go. So when a belt-driven turntable, remember, a belt-driven turntable is driven by a belt and a pulley. So the belt and the pulley only know how to move in one speed. So when you go to beat match and you grab your bass line or your bass kick and you go to throw it on time, it probably will never be on time. So you could never get a solid throw-in on a belt drive. On a direct drive, depending on how you throw your hand, it's adjusting. The motor is adjusting to the feel of the. So when you throw on a direct drive, your vinyl, you're gonna get a better throw than a belt-driven turntable. But as DJs, you use what you had to. You didn't have money for direct drive. You used belt drive, and you did the best you could. As long as I had a pitch control on it, you were good.
I think when you use inferior equipment, it makes you a better DJ when you have superior equipment, if that makes sense.
100%. Like even now, when I go to events or if I do a nightclub, I they always say, well, what kind of gear do you use? I said, what kind of gear do you have? Because I could use anything.
Right.
They're like, yo, we're not used to that, man. We got DJs in here giving us lists of things. I'm like, I will use anything you have.
Right.
Whatever you have, I will make it work.
And I guarantee
that's what I do.
I guarantee you they appreciate that. They look at you and they say, oh, this guy's cut from a different cloth.
Oh yeah, because like you said, when you were DJing and you started, you made it work. And that's what DJs nowadays are, kind of prima donna-ish. And, I can't perform at a certain level if I don't have the stuff I need. Oh. Well, then you're not really a real performer, are you?
Yeah, listen,
you're an equipment guy.
Man, listen, I remember my first DJ setup was with a Realtek mixer, a 2-channel mixer, and both of my turntables were belt-driven, and both of them were different brands. And I won't even mention the brand because I don't want to get embarrassed. But it was trash. It was trash.
Yeah,
but, going back to the belt driven issue, it was when you would thrust, the record for the downbeat input, there would be a lag, and that
big time.
It would be a lag, and that 2-second lag, it made it very difficult you to play catch up.
So you're always playing catch up. That's the correct term, and hopefully your needle didn't skip on you. You were pulling it back.
You remember
because of such a
absolutely
rough.
You remember the tricks of putting a dime or a penny on the needle head.
Of course, man.
So it wouldn't skip.
Tape it to it.
Yes, absolutely.
And because of the weight, you got to hum and the music. It's crazy, man.
I one thing that I remember that you guys taught me when I was first getting into DJing, going back to the DJ topic, was most importantly was you guys ingrained it into my mind. Okay, you have to be able to know how to blend fluently without horses. And then after the definition of horses was explained to me, I was like, okay, cool. And then, okay, remember verse, chorus, and then towards the very end of the song, there's going to be a break beat, and that's where you want to blend it in. So all these different things became very instinctive to me when making music production, because I had already known the breakdown based off of what you guys had taught me. So the arrangement of music was, I looked at it as blocks. And I don't know if I make sense to you, but they were in my mind, I look at it as a block. So one block is here, another block is there. So all you're doing is grabbing the blocks and you're just arranging them almost like Tetris, if that makes sense.
Big time. Yeah, it's like a puzzle.
Yeah, exactly.
Putting a puzzle together.
Right. So when it came time for me to start doing music production, I already knew the arrangement of a song with the 16 bars, 8-bar choruses. I was like, oh man, this is easy. All you got to do now is, the math is there. All you got to do now is just, create it. But nonetheless, I remember being taught phasing by you guys, blending, scratching, and grabbing the nipple of the
platter, yes, of the platter to slow it down.
Yeah, to slow it down. Now, can you explain why that was so important back in those days to grab that nipple and pinch it?
Well, the reason behind that is that you need to do something fast, make a fast adjustment by you just grabbing the pitch. Remember the pitch? I think the pitch is only +6. Now on a turntable, now it has changed because now we could go to 24 even because of, technology is good like that. But back in the days, if you wanted to make a quick adjustment, you could not do it with the pitch. You couldn't rely on it. Mm-hmm. You couldn't put really your finger on the record because you're going to do too much of a drastic short stop.
Yeah.
So to do a gradual stop, you had to pinch the nipple, and if you pinch the nipple, it's going to slow down your platter. People don't realize that that nipple is not is in sync with the motor of the turntable. So that was the best way, and that was taught to us by Richie.
Look at that.
Richie, we saw do that all the time. We're like, what the hell is he doing? But then you realize that when you needed to slow down, that's what you needed to do. You had to grab it. And that made your remember, back then, your beat matching needed to be perfect and smooth like a Richie's mix.
Yes.
So you wanted that feel of that mix to be perfect. And if you wanted it to be not so drastic, and sometimes if you listen to people mix, sometimes you still hear a little bit of like that's too much of a drastic stop or too much of a drastic move forward. So that was the best technique to slow your song down a bit, just to get you right in time.
It's a small, very minute correction, and it worked.
I still do it to this day. Like I like we were talking about the way music DJing has evolved. So records became a hassle. Records became a pain in the ass, carrying them, buying them. So DJs and music people craved something easier. So that in turn made CD DJing, because not only did the emergence of CDs with the quality and the ease of use of a CD without a little tiny, 16 tracks on a little tiny disc, instead of having a heavy 3-pound record, 2-pound record, whatever it is, and having to carry all these crates.
Yep.
So now we go into an era of CD mixing. We're buying CDs now. We're putting CD Case Logic books in, and we're getting CD players that have pitch capability and fast-paced motors like a Denon. So that made us say, why do we need turntables for? When we could get the same production out of a CD player, because I was never a scratcher. I have changed now to scratching because I crave to go back to the way it was, and I'm watching people go back to vinyl, and I love that.
Brother,
I never got rid of
I feel the same
vinyl.
way. I feel like even though I love the CDJs, but I want to go back to my roots, man. I want to put my fingers on vinyl, man, because it's such a look. As precise as a CDJ is, it'll never be as precise as vinyl. Never.
No, it's a different feel, man. You still feel a little constricted with a CDJ.
I agree.
In my opinion, and us, we're cut from a mold of turntables. That's where we came from.
Listen, I'm in agreement. I have a buddy of mine who he's into hip hop as well, and he was asking favors of me. If he asked me, hey, look, if I were to give you a certain piece of music, could you scratch it? And I said, yes, but I won't do it because of the equipment that I have. And he goes, well, what do you mean? I said, well, I have CDJs, man, so it's not going to be I'm not going to record something and give it to you in a proudful stance. I said, because CDJs are not meant for that. If I had turntables, yes, I would do it, but I can't. I'm limited with the equipment that I have, so I have to say no. I'm sorry, and that's just
so
the
truth.
truth.
I get it, man, because you still want that little vinyl sound.
Absolutely.
Even if it comes from a Serato, it's still coming from a vinyl Serato.
Right.
So you still get a little bit of that needle sound.
Yeah.
In my opinion, So I like how you said that you wouldn't do it. Other DJs are like, I'll do it, whatever.
No,
but I think I like the sound, like you said, I like the feel of that vinyl.
Dude, and then it all comes back to personal pride, man. Anything comes out of your court, your studio, whatever have you got to be proud of the work, man. I'll give you a prime example. So I have a home recording studio here in my house. Now, I don't let strangers come into my house, but I let friends of friends come in, right? So they have to be somewhat vetted, if that makes sense.
Know somebody. Right.
So you have to know the person that personally knows me, and they have to come to me and say, hey, Carlos, he's good, man. You won't have any issues. And then I might go as far as to say, well, I need you to be here present while that person is here, just to make sure. This is my home. It's my home recording studio. You understand? But
you don't want to just let anybody in there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I get it.
You know what I mean? So I've been blessed enough to build this home studio where, goodness, man, I get paid to do what the hell I love to do. So individuals, they'll come here, they'll record, and they're used to recording in a certain manner. And I already know it's going to be off time based off breath control. And I said, look, I got to punch you in and out. And they was like, what's that? I said, well, we're going to take you back a bit, and then I'm going to look at you. I'm going to give you a count. And then at that moment, I need you to come back in so you have enough lung capacity, enough air in your lungs to continue on for the next 4 to 8 bars. But you're running out of air, and that pause is making you chase the downbeat. So you're off.
You don't want that. Yeah,
I
you'll
said,
hear that in
yeah.
a recording, definitely.
Right. You know, Big Pun was a huge person that, you know, because of his mass size, they would have to punch him in every 4 bars. But, you know, he's a monster, man, because of his weight. But, you know, I only know one person that was able to record a one-shot take without stopping and no issues with lung capacity. And this guy was my buddy, Nocturnal Sun, and he was a Marine. And he was a
Wow.
prior boxer. So, of course, he has the endurance and lung capacity to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I'll get into this. I don't want to say a debate, man, because either ways, I'm not going to put out a project out of my studio to where someone hears it and he plays it for someone and they say, man, where did you record that? Well, I recorded it over at DJ Architech studio, man. Damn, dude, he did a disservice to you.
Yeah, that's horrible. Yeah,
that's my name. So I will bargain with them and I'll say, look, I'm gonna tell you why. Okay, so and I have different methods of doing it. I'll set up a metronome and I'll hit it and I say, did you see do you realize how you're off time? Oh, I didn't see it. Yeah, man, it's like it might be by 2 milliseconds, but eventually you multiply that by 2 minutes and then you're gonna be off big time. But
you get that from your DJing too, from your DJing, skill.
Being in time.
You
Absolutely. You know, what's funny is that my nephew, he wants to get into DJing. This is my wife's nephew. So, you know, he'll come down and for maybe 45 minutes, he'll get on the turntables. And that's another discussion. So what I'll do is I'll teach him everything with the Serato software. I'll say, look, this is your BPMs. This is your left and your right platter. This is the downbeat. Start it off here. Once he attempts to get that down, I grab a towel and I throw it on the screen. And I said, well, I want you to do it by ear. He goes, oh, man, this is hard. I said, well, no, that's how we learned. So if you're able to do it by ear and your computer takes a shit, you'll be okay. I mean, you need to learn the hard stuff so the easier stuff becomes like butter, you know? And
100%.
I don't know if you agree with that.
I agree totally because I'm so Serato regimented now for many, many years. Since day one, I had the first version. I have since attempted to not look at my computer and got horses. Like I couldn't believe it. I'm like, oh my God, I'm relying on the screen now because it became visual for us. I'm like, yo, I cannot match the beat for the life of me, man. I want you to try that. Any DJs that are out there that listen to Architect show and you're a Serato or a virtual guy, I want you to put the towel on the laptop, like Carlos said. Put the towel on there and try to do a mix. Just try it and see how bad you rely on that visual, man. Right. Because I was like, do I speed it up, slow it down? I don't know. I'm not sure.
Hey, but you know what? That goes back to a different technique that we did is I remember grabbing the records in my crate and putting them in position of BPM. You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah.
So it would be like a staircase from left to right, high BPM to low BPM. So and then you could skip 5 or 6 records because you would still know they would probably be within a 2 or 3 BPM category. And, you would divide or take away 150, add 150 to the next to put them in the middle. And it's funny because as I'm teaching my nephew this, he goes, I didn't know math was involved. I said, look, math is much more easier than ear. But if you want to learn it,
big time,
but if you want to learn it by ear, math, you don't need math. You know what I'm saying? You instinctively, you just know where the downbeat is coming. But, it took time. And going back to his, I don't want to talk bad about him, man, because I love him. but I'm not talking about his talent. Because as of right now, there is none. So there's nothing to judge, right? But I wouldn't badmouth it.
He's a work in progress.
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah. But the dedication or the hunger for it, I'll give you a prime example, DJ DonQ. So I sat with him for about a good hour. Prior to that, I sat with him another 2 hours, right? And this particular moment, I was with him for 45 minutes. Once again, just going through the things that we had discussed prior and teaching him. So I do it easy. I grab two of the same instrumentals, no vocals, and I said, okay, I want you to beat match both of these. I want you to phase both of these. Just so we can get the beat match rhythm down. And then he goes, okay, I got it. I said, hey, I'm going to go watch a movie. I'll be in the living room. If you need me, call me. Okay. Not even 45 minutes pass. And he goes, okay, I'm good, Uncle. Thanks. And I'm like, where are you going? Oh, no, I'm good. I'm just going to go watch TV. And I'm like, bro, Donnie, if I could, I would have spent days in your guys' home when I didn't have my own DJ equipment. I would have spent days in Raz's studio making music if I had the opportunity. For 45 minutes to pass, and then someone who has the opportunity, the equipment available to them, and not to take advantage of it, I didn't say anything. I was like, hey, man, are you sure that you can spend the rest of the afternoon in the garage? You do what you want. No, I'm good. I'm gonna watch TV. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, see, that to me, I don't want to talk bad either, but doesn't have the correct drive needed for this skill, or to master this skill, or just another person that wants to be a DJ to be a DJ, not because of the feel that it gives you when you are controlling a crowd, or when you master that perfect mix, or you say, I want to try this with this and I can't wait to see what people think. That's what we did. We practice and we say, well, let's try to mix this with this. Let's do that. Let's do an acapella. Let's do this. And that planning consumed hours and hours of us that we never looked at the clock and never cared. We could end up 3 o'clock in the morning at Raz's house, and his father, esa bulla, coño, muchacho, vete a dormir, tanta bulla. That's all he said. And when we feared that man coming up the stairs, man, because we're like, fuck, man, we got to turn the music off, man. Mr. Marino's up on the fucking stairs. He's knocking on the door. The poor guy's eyes are all red because my man can't sleep hours and hours, man. I mean, we all should be thanking him, like everybody, all of us. Not only Raz and Danny, of course, but Raz's father was the guy who enabled us, that let us. He was a smart man. He's smart. He said, I'm gonna have my kids in the house. They want to bring all their friends here. Fine. At least I know where my kids are. I see the people that they're hanging out with, and they're into music, and that's good. Yes. Even though he wasn't a music guy himself. Yes. He loved having us there, bro. He loved it. That was the house. That guy we all owe a lot to. You know why? Because he saw it was a wholesome environment. Big time. He's like, these guys are not doing anything wrong. They're off the streets, and the music thing is what they love. Yeah, we all had a genuine passion for it. The same passion or more. Raz probably had the most, because Raz was the music collector himself, and he started doing all this stuff, so him, Danny Marino, he kind of followed his brother, did a little DJing, but Raz was a guy that was persistent, man. That persistence was what he had. He was like, you know what? I may not be able to DJ that good, or I'm gonna keep trying, and I'm gonna surround myself with people. And when Raz saw you had a good mix, he's like, yo, that was good. And if you had a bad mix, he was extremely critical on us. Yeah. Yo, that sucked, Man, you were like, oh, fuck, man, Raz told me that mix sucked. I gotta correct that shit, you know? I appreciated his honesty, and you're right, man. His home was the community. So I appreciated him and his family allowing us to gather in their home like, little rugrats. And, I'm going to tell you something that I just remembered. You recall you and I used to work at Avis Rent-A-Car, right? The company? Oh, yeah. You got me that job, by the way. Yeah. We were both document prep clerks. Ladies and gentlemen, document prep clerks is, a fancy title for someone who was just taking staples out of documents. You look back at that now. What an extreme waste of money that was for pay people to remove fucking staples. This is what we did. That was a horrible job, bro. You stood in that job forever, man. I'm like, yo, I hate this fucking job, man.
Oh my god!
And I was horrible at it because they were like, oh, we love Carlos's work. Oh, we got to go through Donnie's work. He's fucking up the machines because he's leaving staples all over the goddamn place in this thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, they would grab these Avis rental car contracts, and they would record them on microfiche. So that's how they saved space. Our job was to go through these documents, take out the staples, and then, sometimes tape a certain quarter of attachment to it. We had this boss. What was this guy's name, man? Was it Mike?
Oh, he was the Chicago Blackhawks fan. Remember that?
Man. Well, the guy in the office, him and I, we ended up getting into some words, and that was the last thing that we you know what? You and I ended up walking out on. Remember Joe?
We walked out.
We walked out on Joe, and she was such a sweetheart too, man. Joe was an elderly lady. She was a sweetheart, but she started. We started when Donnie came. Me and Donnie, it's on now. We're gonna have a good time. So him and I, we would always laugh because we would make fun of the big manager. Mother had a toupee.
I would say that was your pops. I don't know if you remember that. Yo, your pops is here, bro. Yo, your pops in the office.
Hey,
man.
I remember you would mimic him, and you would say, "Yo, this is so and so going swimming," and you would put your hand on top of his toupee, and with one hand he's swimming. So we would constantly cap on this guy, man.
That guy don't realize how much of the butt of our jokes he was. My God,
man. So Joe, who was, our supervisor, she would get upset because me and Donnie, we were giggling like schoolgirls, man. But work was getting done, but because we were capping on this guy, we would always be laughing. But it's not hard work, ladies and gentlemen. All you're doing is flipping through pages, right? So you can laugh and tell jokes and do the same thing, but she would get upset thinking that we weren't producing enough, numbers. And one particular day, Donnie goes to me. He goes, I'm tired of this old fish. Let's walk. And I said, yeah, man. She's getting a bit obnoxious, man. Let's roll. And then we start walking away, and she comes out, and it's a long hallway to this exit.
Oh my God! Yeah, big time.
It's a long hallway, and she goes, boys, come back. And Donnie and I look at each other. What reminds me about those times was you had a Prelude, copper colored Prelude. You remember that?
Yeah, Raz bought that from me. Raz had it for years after I got rid of it. That was a great little car, man. That actually bought that car from Danny Roman's cousin Hiram.
No way.
Yep.
Listen, man. I remember one day you and I, let's go to my house, let's get a snack, and let's go to the mall. So for whatever reason, you want to park the car inside the driveway, and then you want to close the gate. I'm like, why is this guy? I said, just park it in the street. No, just open up the gate. I'm like, whatever, man. So you park it in the gate, and we go into the house, and my dad had gotten a phone call because I had been cutting class a lot that month. And my dad gets a phone call, and he comes to the house, and he catches you and I in the house, and he looks at you, and he goes, get out. And I'm like,
yep.
And then you had left your keys inside the house.
I was scared, your pops, man. If anybody knows Carlos's father, man, that guy looked at you, man. He looked through you, man. That guy's face, man. My God, I just think he wanted to beat me up, man. I don't know. He wanted to beat my ass for some reason. Man, listen, I don't know if he ever liked me, man. Damn, maybe that situation didn't help.
Listen, that's why Ray nicknamed him El Toro. A
perfect name for him, by the way.
Yeah. So what happens is you go to your car and you try to open it up, and the alarm goes off. But you had a sunroof. The alarm goes off, and you forgot that you had left the keys inside the house, and all you hear is bam. So my dad's chewing me out, and all you hear is bam, 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 bam. And then we open up the door, and my dad, him and I step out, and all we see is your legs sticking out of the sunroof. We're gone.
That's called running for your life, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I was doing right there.
We saw your legs kicking up and down, man. We started rolling, man. Hey,
you made fun of me to no end about that. As a matter of fact, I'm scared for your life, and you and your pops are laughing at me through your house because I'm trying to do a somersault into the 1980 Honda Prelude.
Oh my goodness, man. Hey, bro, I meant to ask you, how are your parents, man?
Oh, my parents, my father, I don't know if you know, had prostate cancer. So he had a prostatectomy. He's doing really good. Thank God. My mom is doing good. My sister is in Arizona, doing good. I got my 2 nieces. My brother is doing good. He's a police officer, as I think you know that.
Yeah, he's
in Hempstead, which is a horrible area.
Oh, absolutely. He should be retiring here sometime soon, right?
Yeah, another year or so, maybe like 18 months or something like that. He's going to be. He's probably moving to Arizona himself.
Good for him. Man. Good.
Yeah,
for him.
So he's doing well. He's doing well, man. Yeah, and my wife and my kids are doing good. Everybody's good, man.
Listen, man, I had a great time at your wedding. It was beautiful. I saw friends I hadn't seen in years. We had a great time at your wedding, brother. I got to tell you.
Oh, I got pictures of you with your uniform, and you put the hat on me. I still look at those pictures today, man. I was so happy you were able to come to that, man.
The funny thing is I had gotten in the day prior from Okinawa, Japan, because I had gotten orders to Camp Pendleton, California. So it was a perfect time of window of opportunity where I was going to be in New York, and my brother was like, yeah, Donnie's got a wedding. Danny was there. Raz was there. Even George Jensen was there. Bale was there.
Oh, man, we had a great time.
Absolutely, we did, man. Going back real quick, man, I put a bullet on this, man. I want to talk about Jim's Deli, man. You give your spill, and then I'll tell mine.
Well, Jim's Deli, as all Uniondale people know, was like probably the best deli in the world to us. They had the 99-cent bacon, egg, and cheese sandwiches that we would go in there. They had these theme sandwiches. They had a little tiny house on Front. What the hell is that? Is that Front Street?
It was Front Street. You're right.
Front Street.
Yeah, and it was a small house. I forgot about.
It was a small. Remember, it started out as a small house, and that was the legendary place for everybody to go to get breakfast, lunch. They were the best deli. They would give you the most meats on the sandwiches, and very, very reasonable. So everybody in that community would go there. Actually, I think Joey Bonilla worked there at one point, or Bayo. I'm not sure which one, but they lived on the same block.
I remember,
off of Front Street.
Yeah.
So they were able to walk to work. So that place was, and then after that, he bought a bigger location and he moved the deli, which recently I was able to go back to.
No way.
After so many years,
no
man.
Way.
I had to do. My new job, I'm traveling a lot. So I had to do a case in the city. So I said I was going to meet the guy. My boss says, meet me in Uniondale Marriott. I was like, oh, yeah, definitely. So before I went there extra early, I went to Jim's Deli, which is still open at 5:30 a.m., by the way. I went there, and George, who's the guy who was the owner, recognized me right away. He goes, oh, man, I haven't seen you in years. I took a picture. I put it up on social media. Everybody's chiming in.
Way.
Georgie, legend, Georgie, Jim's Deli.
Goodness, man. Wow.
They still got the Metwich. They got the, all the jet sandwiches. Oh, that's the best deli, man.
I was going to say the beautiful thing about this delicatessen was that they had sandwiches named the Jet, the Yankee, the Metwich, one because it was so close to Hofstra University. One would be called the Counselor. I mean, and then the price was so cheap. You're right. The bacon and egg was 99 cents on a poppy seed roll. Donnie, you don't know how it hurts my heart to be here in California and not have heroes. Listen, I'm gonna tell you a story. I told it on other podcasts. There's a place, a deli called Tina's Deli in San Marcos here in California. Overpriced, decent sandwiches, nothing close to New York. But I go in there and I look at their menu, and you remember the Hungry Man, right? It was sausage, bacon, egg, ham,
potato,
the whole nine, right? It's a huge thing for
cheese,
for like $5. Yeah, I understand, inflation and all that, but we're talking back in 1993, 1994 type year. But it was about $5, with a drink, maybe $6.25, whatever have you. But I'm looking at their menu, and everything is very holistic and avocado and greens, and I'm like, man, I want a greasy sandwich here. What's going on? So I say to her, I said, look, this is what I want. I want sausage, I want bacon, I want egg, cheese, pepper, and ketchup. And I'm going to give you the name of the sandwich. In New York, we call that the Hungry Man minus the ham. With the ham, that's technically the Hungry Man. And the broad is looking at me like, what the hell is this bastard? You know? And I'm like,
you're gonna eat that all in one seating?
Yeah. I said, listen, you can have the name of the sandwich. Just go ahead and make it for me, please. And they give me this. It might have been I don't know, a 5-inch hero bread.
Oh God, what's that? Yeah. Half a hero?
Yes. And then I'm looking at how they're making the eggs. The broad grabs the eggs, she beats them, and she puts them into the microwave. I'm like,
oh God.
This is the catcher. I forgot to tell you before. As she's taking my order, she says to me, would you like lettuce on that? And I said, what? I said, no. I said, that's nasty. I said, that's nasty.
So you want soggy lettuce on that?
I said, you don't. I said, why would you put lettuce on a hot sandwich? I said, that's nasty. I said, I'm thinking to myself in my mind, I said, typical California. Typical kind of Donnie.
Some kind of green,
brother.
Some kind of green on anything.
They don't have buttered rolls. These fools do not have buttered rolls.
I hear about this all the time, man, from people that are New Yorkers that move around and they miss the bacon, egg, and cheese or the hero sandwiches.
Man, listen.
I mean, people come visit me. Danny Marino comes. He comes here and he goes, yo, take me to White Castle and take me to get a bacon, egg, and cheese. All right, that's brother. The first thing we do on the list. Listen, and that's what you do.
Hey, I know you were in San Francisco not too long ago. I'd never visited, man. Tell me about that real quick.
Oh man, so the new job that I
congratulations
took,
by the way. Congratulations by the way.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, I ended up leaving my job after 18 years. I was in the lab, in the hospital, and I never thought I would leave that job. But
you were an X-ray technician, right?
I'm an X-ray tech, but I went into angiography, which is placing balloons and catheters, and doing treatments and with small wires and stuff. Right. And that's what we do, micro, kind of less invasive surgery, but with X-ray involved.
Okay.
So, so it's hard to explain, but so I did that for a long time, and I got a nice opportunity, which I passed up once, which I wish I would have never passed it up. But the company is called Penumbra. Right. It's a very successful company that eventually I hope to see it become like a Boston Sci, Medtronic, or something like that. But their headquarters is in Alameda, California, which is right by the Oakland Raiders facility. Like I was looking at the Raiders training facility when I was in training. Wow. And I was tempted to walk over there and take pictures, but I didn't have time. But yeah, so the company puts you up in a hotel in Alameda. But I mean, San Francisco is a boat ride away from Alameda, or a quick drive. Right. It's like going, Long Island to Manhattan.
Okay.
So I went to San Francisco. They put us up in a beautiful hotel for the weekend. Hotel Zoe. It's in the heart of San Francisco. I had a lot of things I wanted to do. I didn't get to do all of them, but I was able to see the Golden Gate Bridge. I saw Alcatraz, which I didn't do the tour. I didn't have time. I went to Lombard Street, which is the curviest street in the world. Yeah. And I went up that street. So you had to, to travel, to walk up to get to Lombard Street is a freaking workout, man. I mean, I was climbing up. It was like climbing stairs that are going straight up for a mile. Wow. So we had to do that to get to the top. And it was just amazing to see, all the hills in San Francisco. I really loved it. I fell in love with San Francisco. I don't think I would ever live there, but yeah. I mean, I could actually say that I went there, and I think you should try to make it there if you can. Man, yeah. I think you have a good time with your family, or just go hang out.
Absolutely.
Chinatown was interesting, man.
It's like ask you that.
Being in China,
brother. I was gonna send you a text message and tell you to eat or attempt to chow down on some Chinese food because I hear it's marvelous. Did you ever get the opportunity?
Chinese food? Oh yeah, I went to a place. Of course, we Googled everything, and we found a place called the Oriental Pearl. That was like the top-rated place, and a lot of big famous people went there. And I had dim sum probably the best dim sum I ever had in my life. It was delicious, man.
Nice.
It was awesome. The food, and it felt like you were in China, man. The local markets, and the people, and it was like another world. And then two blocks down is regular street. It's crazy, man. It's unreal. It's kind of a melting pot like New York.
That's cool, man. Hey, Donnie, if you're ever in the San Diego area, Riverside area, man, you listen, my house is your house. Anytime you want to come over, let's party, let's do it up. It'll be my pleasure to have you and your family. So the door is always, open for you, of course.
I appreciate it, man. Same goes for you. If you're ever in New York, I was hoping to link up with you, and out there. That's why I was texting you. I was like, maybe I could go see Carlos. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, it was a shame.
I didn't realize how far.
I'm at the border of San Diego. I'm 5 minutes away. I'm 5 minutes north of the San Diego line. San Diego's technically where I've lived. Goodness, dog, almost 20 years of my life. I can't believe we're getting this old.
Oh my God! You've been here that long? Wow,
yeah, brother. I lived in New York for 20. No, I'm lying to you. Maybe 19 years, and then I'm gonna surpass New York right here in California. I can't believe it. But let's talk about your business, and let's talk about the importance of having a good team around you to make that business successful. DJ DonQ.
Well, man. So, as you know, we've been DJing many years.
You know what? Let me cut you off real quick because I do have to tell this part of the story. So, ladies and gentlemen, as young men, 17, 18 years of age, all of us are DJing, some more proficient than others in different avenues. DJ DonQ, in my personal opinion, had more foresight in the DJing element and much more cojones to step out. And actually, he was the first one of us that broke out of bedroom DJing and performed in a live venue, a dance hall, a club. Brother, I remember going to your first gig out in Queens. And
oh man,
yes. and we were in awe, and it was he's on the tower and he's spinning, and that's my where the crew is there, and we're like, yo, that's Donnie, yo, that's dope. So much respect for your gumption and your determination to take it to a way different level than we would have ever thought of doing. You on that respect. I've always saluted you, and I've always thought to myself, yeah, Donnie's on another level. What we're doing is cute, but what he's doing is serious. And so tell us about that transition and how you incorporated your, number one, your professionalism. So I salute you for that, but your determination, man. How'd you put the package all together to become the company that you have right now?
Well, like you said, DJing in the bedroom, DJing together as a team, and growing up with music, I always said, "What's next? What do I want to do with this? I love this so much that I really want to do something." Obviously, my number one dream was, I had two dreams. I wanted to be a nightclub DJ. First of all, I wanted to be on the radio. That was my two goals. So I said, how am I going to attain these goals? By doing it in the bedroom is not going to get me anywhere. So I started reaching out to people and finding DJs. The first DJ that I met was a guy named Modemo. He was a nightclub guy. So it was the best of both worlds. I was working in Roosevelt Field Mall as a stock boy. And I met this guy. And he was a very important guy, which I didn't realize till later on how important this guy was. Mm-hmm. Going back to this, it's weird how we come full circle to this club in Long Beach. So this guy, I work with his wife, Andrea was her name, and she introduces me to this guy, and I'm like, Andrea, I know your husband or your boyfriend from somewhere. I cannot place this guy, but she goes, "You ever go to Paradise in Long Beach?" I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "Well, he runs that nightclub." I'm like, that is where I know this guy from.
Okay.
So my first gig in the club was actually playing at Paradise, where Henry got shot, where we went all the time.
Wow.
So now this guy is running this place. I'm like, yo, I forget his name. I can't remember it. It'll probably come to me. But I went up to him. I said, listen, I have gone to your club my entire life. I said, I'm a DJ. He goes, oh, yeah, that's cool, whatever. He never put me on. So my goal was to DJ in this spot because it was a spot I loved.
Right.
We used to go there all the time. And I loved the fact that it had a hip-hop room and it had a house music room.
I remember.
So,
yeah.
So now I go to the club one night and I meet this guy, Modemo. And I'm like, yo, I DJ, man. I would love to DJ. He goes, yo, you have to. He's like, I'll tell you what. We are having an open casting for DJs next week because we're doing a new night. He's like, we need you to put together a demo, and we're all going to listen to it. And if we want you, we'll call you. I said, okay. So I worked feverishly on this demo. It had to be 20 minutes, and I submitted it. And they called me. They were like, yo, we want you to do the hip hop room. So this was good. This was good marketing on their part. Is that they brought in all these DJs that were novices, but we in turn bring people. So
okay.
a club that is looking for promotional. Now they just got DJs to promote them, bartenders to promote them.
Smart.
So the first night that I DJed there, I had the 12 o'clock slot. Never forget this. I'm DJing after this guy. I forget his name, but he was a cocky motherfucker. He comes up there and he's playing a Peter Piper, Pick Peppers, but rum rock. So he drops that, right? He drops the Run DMC joint, and he's trying to cut it. He's not doing such a great job. So boom, he's like, all right, DonQ, this guy DonQ is next, whatever. He goes, all right. So my first record. So he didn't have the crowd doing. My first record that I dropped was Lauryn Hill, Fugees, "Killing Me Softly."
Oh.
And when I came up to that, I had that plan. I was like, I hope you don't play. When he got off the set, and when I tell you, I dropped it from strumming my pain with his pain, that I dropped it from that. People just was singing Carlos in that little room. And if you remember, it was a weed smoking room, bro. It was smelled up. It was just Buddha everywhere.
It was a medium to small size room. It wasn't that big. Yeah, so you could smell everything up in that room.
And smoking was allowed at the time in the clubs.
Yeah.
So I dropped that song, and I just went from there. I fed off of the energy of that one song, and I killed the set. I don't know if you were there. I don't know who was there that night. I don't even know if I went by myself. It's kind of vague because it was so long ago.
Yeah.
But and the next room next to me was Glenn Frischer.
No
DJing.
way.
So Glenn Frischer is. So when Glenn Frischer is DJing,
can you explain?
People came up to me.
Can you explain who Glenn Frischer is?
Glenn Frischer is house music DJ god. Like, that guy has been around the circuit. Also a recording engineer. I don't know if you know that, and a producer. And he was the guy that you wanted in the house. So he was on, at the time it was Hot 103. It was Hot 97. And he was the guy that you would listen to from 10 p.m. till 2 a.m. Like nice. 4 hours of straight house fire. And so they had an agreement with him that he would do. So they were like, yo, when I dropped Lauryn Hill or Fugees and I had my set going, they said Glenn Frischer had nobody there. Glenn Frischer was DJing to nobody. And I drew the crowd with that one track.
Wow.
And that was my plan. That I knew this song was it. I remember listening to it over and over. And when I dropped that song, so that as a DJ, what I try to explain to people is that why you DJ so much? Because it's not for the money. It's not for the skill. It's not to be out there. It's for that one feeling that you get in your veins and your blood of the reaction of people give you when they're on that dance floor. And you drop that song. And you get the oohs and the ahs or the jump. That is, for me, a crack cocaine.
That's beautiful.
That is something that I inject into myself, and that feeds me more, and that is something I crave more and more of.
That's beautiful.
You never get enough of that drug.
That's beautiful.
You want that drug every second if you can get it. So as a DJ, that is what you want, and that's what I got a taste of for the first time. Once I got the taste of that hour set was gone. They were like, yo, you're done. I don't want to be done. You got to let the next guy go. All right, I let the next guy go. So that night, this guy, Anthony was his name. Anthony comes up to me. He goes, yo, you did a great set, man. I was like, oh, thank you. He goes, you want to DJ here more often? I said, yo, I'll DJ here for free. He goes, no. He goes, no. We'll pay you. But he's like, we want you to DJ. I said, Anthony, I'm friends with Andrea. I wanted to DJ here, man. You remember me? He goes, holy shit, you're the guy that works in warehouse stocking. I said, yeah, that's me. He goes, dude, I didn't realize how good you were. So that met him again the second time, which he didn't recognize because I was a nobody peon.
Right.
I managed to get myself in there through Modemo and through my, so I had to go around this guy to get into his club.
Right.
So now he's stuck with me now. He's like, yo, I want you to open it up for Razor. I want you to open up for Frisha. So that became my high. That was my high.
Beautiful.
As a DJ, you want to be in the clubs getting that high. So after I was there, I would just bounced around to different clubs. I met promoters. Promoters were putting me on into nightclubs. And I never, ever, ever wanted to be a wedding DJ. Why? Because I'm too good for that. I'm a club DJ. I'm doing nobody's wedding.
Yeah.
What the hell? I look like I'm doing a quinceañera. Come on, man. I'm a fucking nightclub DJ. I'm opening up for fucking Glenn Frisha. I'm opening up for Razor and Guido. I'm opening up for Alex Sensation. I'm doing all this stuff, man. I'm not no wedding DJ.
Absolutely.
And I met, Ray and Ben and Ray, great DJs. He goes by Versatile, and then Benny Blanco, who's now a singer, but Benny Blanco was a DJ, and those guys were my competition. So I ended up working for a promoter, Worldwide Entertainment, and Ben and Ray were the staples of this guy's whole setup. He was doing big, huge events with La India, Frankie Negron. He was bringing Naomi, George Lamont. He was everything.
Wow.
If you work for Alex, shout out to Alex if he listens. Alex Navarro. He's a successful now mortgage guy. His daughter is also on the Olympic team for the United States in the basketball.
Awesome.
And she's Texas Longhorn. So shout out to Alex if he ever listens to this. I can't thank Alex enough for putting me on. So I have to sort of battle Ben and Ray because they play Latin. Like I became a Latin guy at one point.
Right.
I started from hip hop, house, freestyle. Then I became Latin because I was loving Latin music, and that was what my parents listened to. And I became full circle, went back to Latin music. So I started mixing salsa, and merengue and bachata, which was not easy to do.
Absolutely
so
not.
I knew that I could be up there with Ben and Ray. And I honestly didn't like them at first because I thought they didn't like me. I didn't like them because we were competitors.
Right.
So the first night they put me on, they didn't put me in the main room. They put me again in the little room. They had two rooms. They were like, yo, Ben and Ray are going to do the main room. You do the little room. I said, okay. My job was to try to drain their room and get my room packed.
My thought process would be the same. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, it was a club called Cafe Wonderful in Hempstead, which I know you know.
Mm-hmm.
Nagasaki also.
Yep.
The 2 floors. So we had Mega performing too, and I had that bottom floor packed to the point that when the band was going on, I was flooded. And the promoter come up to me and goes, yo, you rocking right now. He goes, yo, we may have to put the main headliner DJs here. I said, oh yeah? I said, so does that mean that when upstairs get packed, I get to go upstairs?
Word.
No, I'm staying down here. I said, you put me down here. Had a little bit of they're like, you're right. So I stood there the whole night. That's when I first met Johnny Famulati and Norikoto. They came up to me. They were like, dude, you drained our room, bro. What the hell were you doing out here? I was like, yo, I don't know. I was just DJing, Again, looking for the high, looking for the track, looking
Absolutely.
for the, you got it. So eventually Ben and Ray are still to this day some of my best friends. They still work in the business. They help me with my events. And they always talk about it. Yo, we were supposed to hate you, bro. I became great friends with these guys. And I'm not, me, Carlos. I've never been the guy to say, I'm the best DJ in the world. I'm better than you. I am not that way at all. If somebody is better than me, I would praise you. Yo, you are nasty.
Right.
Yo, you're great. You're this. I always loved music, and that's what I always did, and until this day, I still do.
You know what it was? You know what it was, Donnie? It was just undeniable. Even if they wanted to hate you, they couldn't because you were so good, and respect had to be paid.
Yeah, they did. They did. I praised them because they were good. And I'm like, I got to get to your level. You know what I'm saying? Like, you guys have been doing this. You've been rocking this. And what was good about Alex is that he never got rid of them. He kept us all smart because he's like, I got guys that are great. We're going to rock. And his parties, anybody will tell you, DJ Smooth, Ralphie was another one. DJ Threat, he passed away, God rest his soul. And he was another great DJ. DJ Q, CUE, was with us. DJ Ash was with us in this crew, Triple R. All these guys are now, DJ Q is Shaggy's #1 DJ. He tours worldwide with him.
Wow.
Triple R is on the radio still to this day. Ash is on La Mega. All these people went and did these big, huge things. It just because of the talent pool that this guy had, they were the people that the radio stations and all the big people wanted, because they're like, this guy's parties are insane.
Right.
Like, how do we get to do a party like this? L Boogs was on the mic, and L Boogs is on the radio till this day. Like, that was a guy that was next to me on the microphone. Like, these guys are greatness. They're hanging out with Mark Anthony, J-Lo. They're hanging out with Jay-Z. These guys are doing really big things, and that was the talent pool that this guy created and had, and just went crazy from there. So as I kept going on, Ben and Ray were working with a DJ company called Festive or Fiesta. They were like, DonQ, you got to come with us, man, do some weddings. Like, yo, I ain't a fucking wedding DJ, bro. You guys do weddings? You fucking sell out. Yo, you got it. You're going to make money. I'm like, nah, man, I'm good. I'm working in the clubs. Meanwhile, you working in a club for 8 hours, you're getting paid $100, but and then you drank 150.
Right.
So you were negative, and you had to buy $200 in records. So now you're $350 in the hole. So I was like, you know what? I don't know if I want to do this. I ain't doing it. I'm a club DJ. So my mom comes up to me and goes, listen, you are going to DJ your sister's wedding. This is exactly how she said it to me. She goes, you're DJing. I said, Mom, I'm not a wedding DJ. I ain't doing a wedding. My mom, for the first time, actually looked at me with hatred and said, you are DJing it. She was the reason I had DJ equipment, because she gave me all the money.
That's true.
So I was like, you know what, Mom? I got to do it. Fuck, I got to do my sister's wedding.
Yeah.
I DJ my sister's wedding like a nightclub. Like, I brought the nightclub feel to a wedding, to a private party.
Beautiful, man.
So I had the people going crazy, and I said to myself, you know what? Not only was this easier, I could actually get paid for this. So I go and I did my wedding. I did my sister's wedding, which was a great success. She even had Joe Cuba, who, God rest his soul. I don't know if you know who Joe Cuba is. He's a big, huge Latin star who sang Bang Bang, To Be With You. He was the first crossover Latin star to go into American music. And my uncle is a background singer, was a background singer for him.
Nice.
And a forefront singer for some of his songs. So if you look up Joe Cuba, everybody who's out there, that guy is responsible for a lot of Latin music crossover. So we had him at the wedding. So I did a wedding with Joe Cuba. I could say to people, yo, I DJ'd a wedding with Joe Cuba.
Wow.
Like that. I'm like, who is this fucking guy? He's taking up my playing time, man, right now. I want to fucking play. And meanwhile, this is a fucking legend. Like, this is a Joe Cuba. Like, I wish I could go back in time and be like, and kiss this guy's feet, man.
Appreciate the moment that you had in front of you.
I was hating on him. I was like, yo, come on, man. Fucking the salsa song you just did is 13 minutes long, bro.
Get out of here.
You did it 13 minutes. Yeah, man. I was like, this.
You taking up my time. I'm
looking at the watch.
I got to get my crack. Come on.
So I'm like, oh my God, Joe Cuba. So I went back to Ben and I said, yo, I could do weddings. I think I want to. They were like, all right. So they put me on with Festive. And we started doing little gigs here and there. Like Ray and Ben would drive the truck. They'd set up the equipment. They do everything for this company. And the company was huge, man. And this guy now, Mike Loco, who is the owner, he has a huge successful staging business. He does big mobile stages all throughout the world. 50 Cent, Jennifer Lopez. He does Good Morning America shows. He is the guy. If you want a stage, he's the guy you call.
Wow.
He was his DJ company. And he was like, yo, DonQ is a great DJ. He put me on to, I don't know if you know Hamilton, the Broadway play.
Yes.
He put me to DJ Hamilton, the main guy, Manuel Miranda, his father's surprise birthday party. I DJ'd that.
Wow.
I was there.
Holy
I DJ'd
crap.
Carlos, they rented a theater in the city, a movie theater. So he played his father's favorite movie. Listen to how cool this is. He gets everybody inside of the movie theater for like 2 hours or whatever. While they're watching the movie, we're setting up this guy's surprise birthday party outside.
Oh my goodness, man! Talk about the money to make that happen.
Oh my God! The team of people that we had was incredible. So he had a salsa band set up. I had to put TVs up, and I had to DJ upstairs on the balcony. Like, you know, when you're in those old school movie theaters, you have those special seating balconies.
Yeah, that's where
that you could overlook.
That's where the old two Muppets were from the Muppet Show.
Exactly. I was the Muppet up there, bro. I was the Gonzo up there, bro. DJing.
Wow.
So I'm looking down in the crowd, and I'm watching this, and it had a very Flaco Navaja was the salsero that performed. Who you should look him up. He's an awesome lyricist like yourself, and he's a poet and a singer. So he was performing. So when everybody came out of the movie theater, it was boom music. It was insane. It was Carlos. It was bars. They brought in acrylic white bars illuminated.
Wow.
And they had all pictures of this guy's dad, Manuel Miranda's dad, in different phases of his life in the bars. So this is all Mikey Loco's production. So Mikey Loco was a guy that was Boricua Italiano. And he was the one that did these huge events. So he was the one that opened my eyes to the mobile gigs. Like, I could make some money doing this. Like, this guy probably made 100,000 here today.
Wow.
I'm guessing.
Wow.
So I was like, from there, Ben and Ray and we just kept DJing. Then I hooked up with Starlight Express, which was another big, huge DJ company. With Ben and Ray was the competitor of Mike, but Mike was sort of fizzling down with the festive, and he was jumping into mobile staging.
Right.
So we all needed somewhere to go to make money, and Starlight Express was a DJ company that had the best of the best equipment, best DJs, best MCs, best of everything. And they were a successful company for 7 years until he sold it. And then sold to Double G, which was Richie G. And then sort of everybody just sort of went on their own way. I made my own company. I hooked up with Opera Steve, and we tried to work with Richie G with we tried to make a Latino segment to Starlight. And it didn't really work out for us. We weren't making money. So Steve ended up going to make a company with Silver Fox. And I was working with Steve with Opera Q. We made our own. So we sort of had our own side businesses. So I have DJ DonQ events. I have Opera Q events. And we had Silver Fox Entertainment. And we were still working with Starlight Express.
Nice.
So I have 4 different means of income now with these DJ companies that I am a part of. And I'm also working in a hospital. So the outlet of DJing became, I just got so busy that I sort of decided at that point that I did not want to work with companies anymore. Because when I was working with the companies, yes, I'm making money, but I'm not making all of the money.
Right.
So I was like, why am I making other people money? Like, I could be doing this on my own. All I need to do is stop being lazy, go invest in big equipment, and go, get an office and start motivating on yourself. Stop saying that you can't be a businessman.
There you go.
Because you already are a businessman. You're the forefront. You control this whole event.
You're the talent. You're the talent. All you need to do is spend a little bit of more resources and time and put the cap on your own head.
Exactly. And I was afraid of that, because I'm like, what if I fail? What if I invest all this money and I don't get the return? But what I did was I bought all the equipment. I bought a box truck. I bought the top-notch stuff and I mimicked the equipment that the company had.
Right.
So that when the company...
You already had the blueprint.
I already had the blueprint, and I saw, but eliminating the equipment that I didn't like, because they had multiple systems.
Or that you didn't need.
I picked that I didn't need.
You streamlined
it. Right. I streamlined what I needed, what I liked, and I went from there. And what ended up happening is now the company knows I have their same gear. So when they were double booked, they subbed me out the whole event. So they're like, take the TVs, take the system, take the, your Zap photographer, do everything, and we'll pay you. So now from making 500, I was making 1,500, going up and up.
Absolutely.
And then I was like, you think 1,500 is a lot of money, but meanwhile, the DJ company, I'm looking at the invoices charging 4,800, 6,000, and they're paying me $1,500, which is like, I got the truck, I got the equipment, I got to set it up, I got to, buy the lights, I got to, the lights that I purchased were.
They're subcontracting you, and that's where
exactly.
That's where they make big money.
Right. So then I said, you know what? I'm going to do this until I get up to the level and the point that I'm making my own brand, because I'm still doing my own brand. I'm still doing DonQ events on the side of doing all these other events. And not only that is that people were seeing me at these big events.
So you were
and we're like, I know you.
You were making a name. Yeah, you were making a name for yourself, and then acquiring future events via your performance that evening.
Right, exactly. I was never the type. I would never ever give my business card out at one of those events because I always felt that this company is paying me. I'm working for the company, and they were big believers in that too. They did not want you giving out, which I was fine. But the problem is that I knew a lot of people in these events.
They were gonna reach out to you personal wise, regardless, business card or not. And I do agree with keeping, not biting the hands that feeds you. I totally agree with loyalty. But if people have your personal phone number and know you prior relationship to this particular event, hey, you can't do nothing about that, brother.
I can't stop you from calling me. I mean,
right.
I haven't, or there were guests at the event. They were like, yo, we know you, man. You DJ. You've been DJing a long time. Yeah, I'm working with the company, though. It's not my event. Yo, it's all good. Don't worry about it. So one wedding that I did, I walk in, and I'm like, oh, man, I know who you are. I'm not going to say any names, but she's like, oh, my God. She's like, I could have just called you directly. I said, yeah. I said, but you know what? You got me anyway. Right. It's all good. We're going to do the wedding.
You just paid a little bit more.
Yes, you paid a lot more. you paid out the ass, as a matter of fact.
But for the future, you got my number.
I didn't say that, but she did end up calling me in the future for events. And you know what? It is too. I'm not too proud to do a birthday, baby shower, a block party. I never ever would turn money down.
Donnie, I'm gonna tell you something. I don't mean to cut you off, man, even though I am. Yeah. One of the most joyful events I had was a backyard graduation party.
Oh, the best.
Brother, I was able to play a play set directly indicative to us growing up. I'm talking about 5 minutes of funk. I'm talking about It Takes Two. It Takes Two.
Eric B. It Takes Two.
Brother, I was more at home in that gig, and I would have stayed another hour for free if they wanted me to. You understand what I'm saying?
100.
Brother,
100%.
Sometimes the playlist, the venue, the closeness of the people interaction, the friendliness is a lot better than getting paid $1,500 for a wedding where you're not really interacting with people. Those type of venues to me are the most. I mean, the money's not great, but you're right. If you're in it for the long haul, it's got to be more than just the money. It's got to be based off the feeling and you having the happiness of playing a song and watching everyone. It's like a vacuum. Everyone rush to the dance floor, and it gives you a spike of adrenaline, and you're like, man, wait till I give you the next song. You guys have no idea what's coming up, and when you play it, the pop of the people, man. Oh, I haven't heard that song in years. Oh my goodness. It's a great feeling to make people happy, bro.
Remember, we are performers. That's what we do. We perform. And we have to look for that certain level of satisfaction in your work. I'm a firm believer, and I have to be satisfied in this event. I have left events where I say to myself, you fucked that event up, man. You could have did better. You could have did this. And at the same time, people say, you did a great job. And I'm like, in the background, could have did a much better job. Right. I'll be honest with you. I should have rocked this shit better. It was okay, but I could have did this and that. And I get in the car and I battle myself. I'm like, oh, why didn't you do this? Or why didn't you do that? Yeah. But that is a process that we go through to learn and get better. I take that, and it's teaching me every single day. Every event teaches me.
It's funny you say that, man. I remember in the first stages of me getting back into DJing in 2008, and I remember I didn't bother you so much because I know you were busy, man, but I would call Raz a lot, and I was like, yo, damn, Raz, I did a gig last night, man, and man, I kind of feel iffy about it. And he goes, what happened? I said, well, man, I played certain genre of music, man, and how do you jumpstart the crowd? Like, what is your perfect genre of music to jumpstart the crowd? He goes, don't get me wrong. I said, maybe after 20 to 30 minutes, I eventually got him on board, man.
You had him.
Yeah, but I want to jump people. I want people to, the moment that I'm playing, I want to jumpstart them. And he goes, okay. And smart answers, by the way, based off experience, right? He goes, well, what time did you start playing? I say, it was 6:00 was the start of the gig. Well, what type of gig? Well, it was backyard, I don't know, the birthday party. And he goes, did they eat yet? Well, they were, they had just finished eating. He goes, yeah, man, well, you got to understand, it's kind of early. They just finished eating. They have a full belly. So dancing isn't the one thing that they want to do right now. They're probably still communicating and catching up with family. He goes, eventually.
Socializing.
Exactly. Yeah. He goes, eventually you got them on the floor, right? And I said, yeah. I said, well, that's the important thing. And I said, yeah, man, but then, I've got an issue where how can I keep them all on the dance floor at one time? He goes, you're not. You got to think about it. I'm telling you, the Raz is a very smart individual. He goes, you can't. You got to look at it like a merry-go-round. Some people are going to get on. Some people are going to get off, depending on the type of genre of music. And you know what? Till this day, he's right, man. So there'll be 50 people on the dance floor. The moment I switch from one genre to the next, half of those or 3/4 will go, and then 3/4 will come. And it's just based off people's, taste in music. And I thought about what he said to me that day, and I was like, you know what, you're right. You can't be too judgmental on not getting everyone that you want on the dance floor. Everyone's going to come through based off what they like and what they don't.
And we're all very hard on ourselves, excuse me, as individuals, that when you play a song, damn, why aren't they getting up? Like, I thought this song was going to get everybody up.
Because it gets you off. How come? Because it gets you off, right? So what might get you off not necessarily gets another person off.
Right, exactly. And you got to remember, too, I always tell myself this. People are not all dancers. People are not all, like, we struggle with it because we love music. We love parties. We love to be on the dance floor. We love to drink. We love all this stuff, but people are not all like us. Everybody is different. So you got to remember, people are going into that event with intentions of not dancing. No offense to us, but they are not, when they're in their car, they're listening to 1010 Wins. Like, they're not listening to hip hop or old school or this. They are not music people. So that's what you have to remember too.
That's valid.
And I have clients tell me that all the time. Listen, you are not going to get my uncle up. So don't even worry. You're not, my side of the family does not dancers. I say, you know what? My goal is to get that guy up.
Right.
Because now I want you to be like, yo, that guy never dances in any event.
And that DJ,
I want to make sure.
And that DJ was able to get him up to dance. Exactly.
And that will make them remember you for life if you do that. If you can do it. Sometimes you get these people that you're not going to, I'm telling you, Carlos, you try everything under the sun. I did an event going way back. It's a Latino event. I've never had problems with Latino events. Latinos, as you know, they dance in a fucking shower. Like, they'll dance anywhere. They don't care. Like you could be pissed off at your mom, right? And have a straight up argument, and you play La India. Ese hombre que tú ves ahí. And all of a sudden your mom's whole demeanor changes, bro. Like, she forgot everything that she just hit you with a fucking mop stick, and she just starts dancing in the kitchen like nothing. Absolutely. Because we are music people. That music moves you. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I did an event with Latinos, and I'm pissed off. I'm like, yo, these people are not dancing, Carlos. What the fuck is going on? I'm playing merengue, salsa, bachata, reggaeton. I dropped everything. I played disco. Carlos, I couldn't get nobody. I had the bride, maybe the bride dancing. So the end of the event comes, she goes, Donnie, you did a great job. I was like, man, I kind of struggled, man. I said, I know your father for a long time. So her father owned Winter Circle nightclub.
Oh, in Westbury.
Westbury still owns it. Patty.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Patty still owns that place. He picked me out of all the DJs to do his daughter's event.
Wow.
And I said to myself, I got to make sure I go over the top to this dude. Because not only does he own a club, but he's always helped me throughout the years.
Yeah.
He picked me.
And this guy knows good DJs. Out of all the DJs, he owns a nightclub.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He comes up to me at the end. She goes, don't worry about it. Pat goes, Donnie, the groom's brother just died last week.
Oh.
I was like, why didn't anybody tell me? I'm trying to get the groom up. I'm busting his chops. Yo, don't let the event pass you by. You got to get on the dance floor. You're celebrating love. All this stuff. I couldn't get this guy to move. I didn't realize that this guy's brother. He said, Donnie, we almost canceled the wedding on you, bro. Because we didn't know if this was going to happen.
Wow.
This is something that nobody here wants to be at right now. So how would I have known that situation, Carlos?
Yes.
Me being a DJ,
and you're
that
taking it
so
personal. You're taking it
so
personal.
personal.
Yeah.
I felt horrible after that. I was like, yo, I was trying to get her. She was like, nobody wanted to bother you. They wanted to let you do your job. They didn't want to affect the way you did your job.
Wow.
And it's all good that they were fighting themselves not to dance because they don't feel it's appropriate, which I don't feel it was appropriate.
I
don't
wouldn't
feel
either. I agree. Wow.
So all the events that we do, all the background stuff that's going on, Carlos, you don't understand. A lot of events I do now, these big, huge events, sometimes I do these big quinces or big, sweet 16s or whatever. People, I told my wife this because I hired my wife as a photographer. I converted her to a photographer because I needed help with my photography. And I bought her a nice, expensive camera.
Nice.
And I had her work with me. And I said, I want you. She goes to me, I don't understand these people with the puss face and the aggravation and they're not dancing. I said, I want you to know one thing. 90% of these people in this room have already done a quinceañera, right? This quinceañera that we are doing right now, we're here, is over the top. They have lights. They have TVs. They have an MC. They have party favors. They have you taking pictures. They have their name on the dance floor. 90% of the girls here didn't have this.
Right.
So obviously they're hating.
They're
going to hate and they're going to go on their cell phone. They're going to go into the back. They're not going to go in the photo booth. They're walking around with aggravation. The parents are pissed off. Like the hatred is what made people not want to be in that event, which is sad, Carlos. It's sad. I see it every weekend, bro.
Wow.
Every week. I know for a fact when I look at a girl and she's not, in the party, but she's at the party.
Yeah.
I know she had a Sweet 16 and her Sweet 16 sucked.
Was whack.
I get kids coming up to me. I wish you would have been at my Sweet 16. My DJ was horrible. Which I like I said, I don't like talking bad about people, but that DJ messed their party up.
Yes.
She's, that DJ was either lazy, didn't want care, was subbed out, or got paid minimum money. Who knows? It's so many different things that just started out.
Brother, DJ,
many things.
Brother, DJ DonQ, Donnie, my brother. Listen, I'm gonna tell you something, man. My wife's niece just had a quinceañera not back in February, and obviously I wasn't gonna do it because me being family, I want to partake in the festivities. I'm not trying to work.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? So I want to be relaxed.
Yeah.
So they knew not to ask me. As a matter of fact, a lot of family members that ask me and I'm invited to the party, I'm like, no, man, I'm not trying to work. It's my day off. I'm trying to have fun, right? Yeah. I want to partake in the festivities. I don't want to be working. When it comes to a quinceañera, you got to get a choreographer, like el baile de sorpresa. I'm going to be honest with you, man. One of probably the most stressful events that I had was a quinceañera, and you would think it was a wedding, but no, weddings are easy because you have a timeline, man, and everything is so compacted into these, particular blocks of time, and so half of the time you're really not DJing, you're just like playing dinner music, and then they have a list of what they want, and people come up to the stage and I always have a rule of my helper, your job is to intervene. The moment you see somebody coming to the booth, you stop them from interrupting my mix. And then they have a pen and a pad 100%. And they jot down whatever it is. And, I tell him to tell them, well, look, be cordial, write down the request, but let them know that the groom and the bride, they have a playlist of their own and their songs will be played first. And if we don't have any time afterwards, we apologize. But if we do, we will play it. So it's very easy. But going back to my niece's quinceañera, I don't know why. I don't know what happened. I should have probably gave them more counseling. But, us doing our primary jobs, we really don't have time for it. But what happened was the choreographer, the person that was teaching them how to do these dances, ended up becoming the MC. Now, you and I know that should be the job of the DJ representative, right? So if
100,
right, so if I have 100%. If I have a gig and that gig, they want to MC, it's a higher price, and that higher price is indicative based off I have to pay somebody because I'm not going to do the emceeing. I'm going to pay somebody else. So there goes, we're going to a different package. You want to
professional.
MC?
You're going to pay one of your professionals.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I bring another person with me, or the individual that helps me out with the equipment. He's eloquent and articulate enough to get on that mic. And, hey, bro, I need you to get in your best suit. You're doing mic work today is what I say. You're going to be the MC today. Boom. You're going to get an extra so-and-so money for the pay, aside from you helping with the equipment. And he takes care of, issues accordingly. And this guy, the person in charge of teaching them how to dance, came through in an orange T-shirt and blue jeans and was on the mic.
Oh, my God. Oh, no.
Brother.
Oh, God.
I sat there. I looked at my wife, and my wife looked at me, and she goes, "Why is he dressed like that?" I said, my question exactly. She goes, "Carlos, you would be in a suit. The DJ the DJ was in regular attire. The DJ was in regular attire." I was like, but more so the DJ, I'm not saying it was professional, but the DJ more so you could probably get away from it because he's in the background. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly,
but if you're holding the mic and then you're in the forefront and you're wearing an orange T-shirt with blue jeans. And it was, you got to understand is that my niece's father is a Marine Corps first sergeant. So they had this big, huge extravaganza with Marines, with the sword, with the movements of the sword. It was beautiful, man. Marine Corps spectacular, Marine Corps blues. Brother, it was beautiful. And then you look up on stage and you see this travesty. And I sat there and I said, you know what, man? If I knew it was going to be this bad, I would have done it. Because the professionalism that I provide when we come to set up, we're in cargo shorts and we have the name of company on black T-shirts with white logo, right? The phone number on the back, the whole nine. We set up about an hour and a half prior. Once we're set up, we go back, we freshen up, little baby wipes, little baby powder, a little bit of cologne, looking beautiful, boom, boom, bad, a little bit of gel, and then we switch over.
I have perfected the Puerto Rican bath, bro. Don't worry about it.
There you go, right? And then we switch over into our suit, whether it's a 3-piece or a 2-piece, but suit and tie.
Yep.
And that's including the roadie, whether or not he's emceeing or not. He's in a suit.
Big time.
If it's a wedding or a quinceañera or a business event or a Marine Corps ball, we're both of us in suits, and that's the way we roll. Do you concur?
100%. You need to display a certain professionalism, and you need to be neat and clean because these events are big money events, and nobody that has spent 2-3 years planning an event wants to see a bummy DJ. I'm sorry. You got to remember that. That's what people don't understand. You think that you're doing a wedding just to do a wedding. You got to remember that these people have planned this event for 2 or 3 years. This is the most important day of their lives. You single-handedly could ruin that.
Yes.
In a matter of minutes on a poor decision or poor look or a poor this. So you have taken 3 years of their lives and ruined it.
I agree. Now, DJ DonQ, once again, man, we're getting to the ending of the podcast. I've already held you on here for 2 hours plus. I didn't think it was going to go this long,
that went by quick.
Yeah, it did, man.
That went by quick, man.
It did. I believe me, if I had more time, I'd keep going on, but I'm not going to keep you away from your family. But listen, one last 2 questions. What is in the near future for DJ DonQ and your company?
The company, thank goodness and God, has been growing at a rapid pace. I was able to attain a few house accounts. I was able to attain a beautiful office and partner up with a photographer, videographer. Not partner up, but she enabled me to Lisa Marie Photography. I can't thank her enough. She was the one.
And I was going to say that I wanted to congratulate you. I know it was several years past when you sent me the photograph of the brick and mortar office that you were opening up. Congratulations, man. That's huge.
Thank you, man. That in itself has been the best DJ investment I have ever made in my entire life, because now I'm serious. Now people take me serious. I was at a point where I have a home office still. I was inviting, like you said, random people to my home office with my family here. I have, I don't know if you know, but I collect sports memorabilia. So I have a vast amount of sports memorabilia in my man cave basement area, and then I have an office. So you have to go through the man cave to get to the office.
Right.
And I had some shady people here Then I decided to move to Lombardi's restaurant, which is right down the corner. I could walk there from my house. This gentleman, Victor Lombardi, is in the family of the Lombardis, which own a lot of catering halls. He was kind enough to give me my own section in his restaurant to see clients, which is a smart move on his part, because a lot of my clients decided to stay for dinner or come back for their their dinner that they had before their pre-wedding rehearsal dinners and etc. So it was a smart business on his part. I would end up buying clients drinks, appetizers, whatever, just to woo them, try to woo them, or make them feel comfortable enough to make a decision for me for their wedding.
Smart.
That it was sad for him when I opened my office. Because I would go there on his slowest nights for Tuesdays and Wednesdays evening, and he would have a whole section set up for me. His wait staff would bring the clients to me in the back. Wow. So I'm kind of indebted to this guy, which I support him 100% all the time. Right. People don't realize what he did for my business. So I thank Victor Lombardi if he's listening. So that I said, people were like, "We're meeting you in a restaurant." I got that. First of all, I live in my house. When I had the home office, I live in a dead end. I don't know if you've ever been here. I don't know if you've seen my house, but I'm a quarter mile off of the main road. So you have to go down a dirt road to get to my house. I had 2 brides come here in the nighttime and turn around and text me, say, the place is creepy. I don't know who you are. I don't know where you're trying to get me. So I'm going to go with another company. Wow. So I lost a few events that way. I lost a few events. People making fun of me for meeting people in restaurants. They're like, "Oh, you don't have your own office." So when the office opened up, when Lisa Marie told me about it, I jumped on it. I said, "This is the next level that I need to be at."
Yes,
it's an expensive a nut every month, but it has been well worth it for me. I have a waiting room. I have a beautiful bathroom. Redid the place. My friend Joe Morbillo and Jason, they helped me redo the place. New floors, new walls, TV in the waiting room. I got, the whole place set up with all canvases of my setups. I have brochures. I have information for them when they come to sit down with me. I have beautiful folders with DJ bio. I have my price list. And I have all these. And what helped me, too, is that I have a lot of venues on my wall.
Nice.
So if you say, "Oh, I'm getting married in Giorgio's," oh, there's Giorgio's right behind you.
Oh,
when people see that, they're like, "Wow, that's my room."
They already picture
it. They're like, I'm like, "There's your room right there." There's your room. There's your room with LED lights. Did you have, did you ever see your room lit up with LED lights? So those are little things that I'm able to do to help me attain more sales.
Very smart.
So I'm also next to Lisa Marie. So we have a little wedding block. I got my niece. I don't know if you remember Ellie, my goddaughter Ellie, my son's, my brother's first daughter. She is a makeup artist, incredibly talented. I'm not just saying that because she's my niece, because I've seen her work for many, many years. She's worked for big hair salons doing makeup, etc. So she does her own work. I said, "Ellie, there is an office next to me. I think you should look into this office for your clients." So she looked at it, fell in love with it, and boom, she rents it. So now, hello, gorgeous. So now we have a block of photography, videography, DJ, and makeup.
The whole package. It's almost, all you guys need is the wedding baker, right? The baker for the cake. That's all you guys need.
So we're excited for these 2 people that are next to us. Hopefully they'll leave one day, because I really want to get either limos and tuxes, bake, wedding cakes. Man. I could also want to get invitations in there, florists, whatever. We'll have a wedding block. That'll be a one-stop shop.
That'll be huge.
So, Lisa and I have been able to feed off each other because she has house accounts. I have house accounts. So if she gets an account, you need a DJ? Oh, he's next door. Let me call him. Boom. She calls me. I see the client. If I get a client, you have photo video? No. Boom. Call over there.
Smart.
And then we feed off each other that way.
Very smart.
So that we're able to cross promote each other in that aspect. So the future for DJ DonQ is I'm trying. My son is really getting into music right now, and he has slowly been coming up with ideas to remix songs. I'm not trying to force him, but I want him to take over this business and maybe become a DJ. I think it'll be great for him. He has the music in him, so I'm hoping that one day he'll take all of this over. Because I've grown so much that I'm able to do. I have 16 speakers. I have 4 TVs. I have 8 lights. I have 40 LEDs. I have 6 1200s, 6 turntables. I just bought the new Rain 12s. I don't know if you've seen them. They're the needleless turntables. I bought the Rain 72. You have to look into those. It was an amazing setup. They're needleless turntables. They have the vinyl on them. but there's no needles involved.
Beautiful.
But it has the same feel as a 1200.
Wow.
So I've got all this equipment because I was in need of setting up multiple events for subcontracting DJs that didn't have these
The equipment.
gear.
Yeah.
And I have a certain, my taste in gear is expensive.
Mhm.
And a lot of guys are like, yo, I could do that event with 2 Mackies. No. You ain't doing Mackies in my job.
No,
Sorry.
No,
I need you to perform, with a certain equipment, certain look.
And at a certain level.
And a certain level. So I'm able to set up multiple events and, do different events. I have, the 2 photo booths. So I'm able to set up, on May 4th, I have 6 events. So
Wow.
I have to be able to set up, it's gotten to that point where I've gotten so busy.
Wow.
But thank God, with a great team, great people, surrounded by great people, great talent.
So right now you're to the point where for May 6th, you're possibly including yourself, and then you're sending out another 5 DJs from your team to go knock out venues.
Yes, I'm sorry, not May 6th, May 4th.
May 4th.
May 5th is a Sunday. That's Cinco de Mayo. I have 3 events that day. May 4th is the 6th event day.
Look at that.
So it's a crazy day. So I have to use other DJs' equipment because I know who has good equipment though. So, and I'll put those DJs out there so that they can perform and I don't have to worry about their equipment. Certain guys already have, stuff that's at a level that I like to see and hear.
Right.
So those guys I trust and I just send them the whole thing.
Beautiful.
But yeah, man. So I'm hoping that one day my son can take this over for me and continue the DonQ name. I want to call him DJ Baby Q.
There you go. DJ DonQ. Where can people find your website? Where can people look for you for bookings and all that good stuff? Where can they find you?
So my website, you can definitely reach out to me through the website via email. It's www.djdonq.com. I have a Facebook, which is DJ DonQ Events. I have an Instagram, which is DJ DonQ NY. So all those are means of ways of booking and contracting. Braz has done an awesome job with our podcast and our radio station that he's developed and is sustained. Danny Roman has mixes. Richie, we all have mixes on there. I'm sure maybe some of your mixes are on there, but he rotates all the songs and music.
And a shout out to that. Where can they find that?
You're gonna go to iTunes and download the DJ DonQ podcast, but there is also a website that Raz knows, which I don't know off the top of my head, but it's like the Q or Q radio. Mm-hmm. And that is 24-hour listenership, which we could get from Raz, and we could add that, in the future to your podcast if, people want to listen. But you could always download the DJ DonQ podcast through iTunes, and we have mixes for days on that too.
That's great.
So there's a bunch of ways that you guys could hear mixes, and the Ustream actually is probably still out there. Where you could see DJing and Richie, and these are the guys that we all started with and been DJing with, and tremendously talented people that love music.
Absolutely. And then DJ DonQ, one last question, brother. What advice would you give to a person, a young man, a young woman wanting or attempting to getting into DJing? What advice would you give to them to help them succeed?
First and foremost, this is not for a lazy person. This is something that you need to do, live, eat, and breathe 24 hours a day, DJing. You have to be a constant student and listen to other great DJs and listen to music all day and try to see how you could be different and creative and not just play a track, but how are you going to play the track? How are you going to change the track? How are you going to distinguish yourself and make yourself different from every other DJ? Now that we have this, digital era, everybody and their mother is a DJ now with a laptop. Mm. How are you going to stand out from the crowd of DJs? How are you going to be the guy that gets into the nightclub or the party with 500 people, the nightclub with 3,000 people? How are you going to get yourself known? How are you going to promote yourself? Become a marketing magician, constantly injecting into people. I am DJing here. I am here. I've done this event. I am not home right now. People do not want to see a DJ home. People want to see a DJ that is busy working. That's why you see me flooding social media with my events, because I'm never home. And I'm actually proud of that because I am building, and I have been building for many years, this brand, this way of life of music through people, because they see me all day. Oh, my cousin's at this event. You'd be surprised. I put up on social media, man, I'm here at Miller Place Inn. Oh, my cousin is there right now. Boom. Text. Cousin comes over to me. Oh, my cousin. This is a revolving circle of people. So you need to show people that you are working.
Create
and
connections.
You're grinding.
Yes.
Connections. Make connections. Become friends with DJs. Study DJs. Find someone you like and mimic their style and incorporate your own style.
Beautiful.
Successful DJs. That's what you have to look for.
Beautiful.
People that have been working for years.
Beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been my friend, Donnie Rodriguez, DJ DonQ. We've spoken about some great stories from the past, some good chow in New York, and his blueprint of how to become a successful DJ. Donnie, listen, man, it's been a pleasure. I want to thank you for your time. I didn't think it was going to be this long, man, but believe me, we go into stories, and then one avenue turns into a different chamber, and that turns into a different tunnel of topic. And I appreciate you, man. Listen, you're a charismatic individual. You on the ones and twos have always, in my personal opinion, have been were the best, as well as singing, man. So if you still dabble with that, then I would tell you, man, do it just for the love of it. Listen, I'll be 80, 90 years old and still be strumming a guitar on an old chair, man. We do things because we love it. And listen, man, I
kill a karaoke bar. Listen, I kill a karaoke bar.
There you go.
That's what it become now.
My man. But listen, man, I want to thank you, number one, for giving me the tools to, become a good, decent DJ, and then once again double forward when I wanted to get back into it, and you giving me the tips and tricks on what type of equipment to get. Believe me, it's paid off. I don't know, many times fold. I don't know how many times I've paid off that equipment. But I'm very, very, very grateful for you and the other things that you've helped me out with. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is chapter 52 with DJ DonQ. This has been your host, DJ Architect, the chapter of the Architect, DJ Architect, out.
DJ Architect.